Mother, man.
This is Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. And you are listening to Murder Metal
Spreading
Mayhem.
faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
What's going on, guys?
Heidi ho!
Heidi ho! We got a little Ari there to bring in the cheer tonight. The first Jason Voorhees,
Number one,
doing some promo for Murder Metal Mayhem. It was cool to meet him a couple years back at the Dark History Convention. So.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So it's Tuesday, and we're doing that thing we do here at Horns High Studio, guys. Episode 115 tonight. Going to be a good one.
Fucking A.
How are you guys doing tonight? Joey, got your Cubs hat on over there?
Yeah. Doing all right, man. Not bad.
Right.
Cool. Chris, everything good in Shawback Nation? You guys party for your brother's birthday?
Yeah,
That's cool.
We had a little get together for Michael's birthday. It was fun. Had a good time.
That's cool. I'm sure you guys like read together and stuff like that.
Bible worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So, do you guys dig my new shirt, man? I got a Kevorkian fucking T-shirt. Artist Lou Rasconi, amazing dude, amazing artist. He's just fantastic. And anyway, he was running a deal on his website. So I thought, you know what? I try to support the other arts out there, and I'm a fan of Lou's and like his work. And so, I bought this shirt, got it today, and just really dig it. Yeah, so very, very cool.
The first time Goremonger was ever on a pro-pressed album was a compilation put out by this company, Serial Killer Records, from Oklahoma, but Lou did all the artwork for it.
Oh, nice.
It's called The Last Supper. We'll have to bring it over sometime and show you, but it's basically The Last Supper, obviously, but with serial killers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm sure it's awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's very cool. So we got another mini Dominus that we got here.
Yeah.
Thanks to the guys from Super 7, sent it in. Already have one, so we got a second one. I think he was fighting with Chris Benoit, or was there some kind of struggle over there with him? So now there's two Dominus, so Domini.
Now they got to fight for dominance.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Not to mention there's a big-ass mask called Dominus in the studio already.
That's right. That's right. So we got a lot of Dominus going on in here, so very, very brutal stuff. Now, last week, guys, was a good one. Episode 114, we did our creepy October start, and I think we did a good one there.
I thought we did too, man.
Pretty crazy. Illinois Asylum for the Incurable Insane.
People
I love
were
that.
checking it out.
They were. We're at like 1,200 listens so far. Very cool.
Just that name itself is insane.
I know.
For sure.
And we talked about some of the notorious patients that were there and some of the awful things that went down. But overall, I mean, it was actually a pretty cool, different way of looking at mental health. And the patients really loved being there. Not the typical insane asylum by any stretch.
No, not at all.
But some of the people there were pretty fucking disturbed. And, and we tell some stories about that and get into the paranormal a little bit. So
the doctor's different tactics on how he handled it was awesome too. So.
Yeah, definitely. George Zeller. So check that out if you missed it. CK talked about Orange Goblin, which was cool. Another UK band. And of course the final Hellcoming match with the winner, Chris from Flowery Branch, Georgia. Very, very awesome.
Got to call him right afterwards to let him know what was up.
Yeah, that was really cool. We tried to record it, and the computer was just like completely being an asshole and was not making it any easier for us after a long night. So we just called him, and it was cool. And I also talked to Nihilist Jello because he was the runner-up, and I called him. And we talked for a little bit, and he's a really good dude. I told him if he wanted to come on and do a show with us, all about it, he was all about it. So that'll be, I know that Nihilist didn't win, but he's a really good dude, and he's a stand-up comic, and he's an actor. He's in a new movie on Prime, but unfortunately, right now only the trailer is up. But you guys got to check it out. It's called Pigster. And he plays this like wild pig. It's fucking crazy, man. Nihilist Jello plays him and another character in the movie outside of the costume. Yeah, he was telling me about it on the phone, and we went to watch it because we were like, that sounds pretty wild, you know?
But it's just the
and
trailer.
only the trailer, so he was going to find out what was up. So anyway, Nihilist Jello.
And also, because whenever we talked to Chris down in Georgia, he was even... You know, he was like, man, even though I won, it would be cool to hear Nihilist.
He did
say
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, so he'd be down with it anyway.
Without a doubt. And last time we did with March Mayhem, we had Stephanie and then Justin came in. So it's all good. I think all the listeners have been great sports about this and really been cool to each other. And that's awesome. So metalheads are that way, no matter what anybody fucking
Stick together,
says.
motherfucker.
Now, tonight we got another good one, guys. We're going to be taking another creepy fucking subject on. Joey, you suggested this one.
Yep.
The Yuba County Five. It's a bizarre story I'd never even heard of before about 5 mentally challenged young men from Northern California. They went to a college basketball game and never came back, man. Definitely a fascinating story, and I'm glad you suggested it, Joey. So.
Well, and I suggested this one quite a long time ago, really.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is doing it now during the October for the creepy.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it is
it's
perfect
like,
for
what
it.
the fuck, man?
Yeah, I mean, Chris, I'm sure you would agree. I mean, this has definitely got an eerie, like, what the fuck.
Oh, 100%. Dude. Like, some of this shit in there is like, why? How?
I know. And then you watch, like, the documentaries or you listen to podcasts about it, and it's like, you think it's creepy as shit, and then it's like, but then this happened. Then this happened, and you're like, really? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
What the hell? So it's a good story. I'm anxious to do it. We got CK warming up. Joey's doing some jumping jacks tonight, getting ready,
Right.
loosening up, doing the metal feature on a big fucking band, Chris.
Huge, man.
Who the fuck are we going to do?
Slayer. Fucking Slayer.
That's right, man. Fucking Slayer tonight. It's going to be sick.
Was that fucking, was it Jim Brewer? Where he's doing the fucking skit. It's like, you can't just say Slayer. It has to be like, fucking Slayer.
Fucking Slayer.
I think it was, I can't remember. That shit was funny, though.
Oh, hell yeah.
I see this shit like on fucking a meme or some bullshit. It's like, there's a McDonald's sign that says, please stop coming through the drive-thru saying fucking Slayer.
That's great. So, yeah, we're going to be doing Slayer tonight, and because of that, we decided to do all Slayer for the bumper music.
Fuck yeah.
So, and a special one at the very end of the show that I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of.
And we even did Criminally Insane in the last show.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
So we've been all about it. And we'll talk more about that and metal updates, CK's Lost Classic, and much more. So definitely stay tuned for the metal segment coming up. Got another new contest coming, guys.
Yes, we do. We're gonna
I just dropped this one Friday.
the season's beatings.
Season's
Beat
beatings.
the fuck out of them.
We're going to be doing another contest. This one's going to run through the month of December. We had such a big outcry and love for the Hell Coming. We had a big audience response from the March Mayhem, so we
Right.
thought, why not?
Let's do another.
So we're going to have serial killers tag team matches with rock stars or metal
Musical art,
musicians.
yeah.
So there'll be tag teams, for example, like maybe Gacy and Kerry King fighting Ted Bundy and Phil
That'd be
Anselmo.
so fucking weird.
Wouldn't that be crazy? So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And what we'll do, guys, is the four of us, me, you, Chris, Joey, and CK, we'll come up with our own
Our
list,
of
and we'll
musicians
combine them.
yeah.
And we'll come up with we'll probably go with the 32 since that seemed to work pretty well with the
Yeah.
tag teams last time.
We'll have to remember to match up the matches so they last 4 weeks for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it differently this time. Yeah. So we're working out all the details, but we'll keep you guys up to date on that. But Seasons Beatings, it's going to be a good one. We're still looking for a sponsor for sure. Got a couple of things in the works, but we'll let you know once we know anything for sure. Killer Cage match tonight, guys. Got a few listeners to thank, Chris.
We got my girl, Rebecca Bosak. But I
Boom
fucking,
sock.
yeah, boom sock. I can't read.
Yeah, it's a
dude.
weird pronunciation.
thought-
Sorry, Rebecca.
I'm stupid.
Who
Then
else?
we got Cody Durst.
Cody Durst is back, man.
God damn it.
Yeah, we had a little exchange. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I see that. And we got Holly Smithson. So fuck yeah, guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
the fucking numbers.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the random numbers. Got a good matchup tonight, Joey. Who do we got? This one's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we got Jeffrey Dahmer and Catherine Knight fighting
Damn.
to death in the cage.
Now, Catherine Knight is a fucking
She's a big, mean
bitch.
bitch,
and
dude.
so that is not like, oh, wow, he's got to fight a girl.
No,
I
'cause
mean,
to
this
be
is like
honest-
fighting like three men. Like,
And Dahmer wasn't like that mean of a guy.
no, he wasn't.
No,
So
I mean, he worked out and whatnot, but yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like he was like,
Catherine Knight's beating up like Australian fucking outback dudes,
Yeah.
you know, so
out there with
Colcock and kangaroos and shit.
Jesus.
they got two objects to fight with and a variable, so it's going to be awesome. We haven't done Killer Cage match in a while since we've been doing Hellcoming, so we're definitely ready for it, and of course that'll be on in the Mayhem segment. So, got huge thanks, of course, to our friends at Spellbound, effectsandart.com for sponsoring the show. Chris, I mean, we just talk about them all the time.
All the
Just
time, dude.
amazing.
Great artwork. Fucking, like we said every time, fucking the lamp, fucking killer shit, spike.
Yeah,
Fuck
all
yeah,
the
dude.
body parts, the fucking dead baby head, Joey. I mean,
Yes,
that's pretty
yeah.
brutal. The masks, he can make the COVID mask that looks like fucking human skin and shit. pretty sick.
Our new
So-
commercial we shot. We'll have some shots of the.
Yeah,
the
we
stuff
do have
got
some. We do have some stuff that we're going to talk about with the commercial. That was fun.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, spellboundeffectsandart.com is definitely awesome. So go check them out. Support the underground. Tony Campagna, just killing it down there in South Florida. All right, thanks to all you motherfuckers listening to Murder Metal Mayhem. We continue to see the numbers rolling in. About 4,000 listens this week.
Nice.
You guys kick fucking ass. Now, Danbury, Connecticut, I could not believe it, actually knocked Chicago off the number one
Really?
spot for
Nice.
cities listening. After 2 years, Chicago has been number one, and
Yeah.
now Danbury, but then they switched again. Chicago back
Back
on
to
top
number one.
today.
I didn't think that would last long.
I didn't think so either, but hell yeah, man. Danbury, Connecticut's about the size of Bloomington, so
Right.
that's cool.
Yep.
That there's that many people listening there. And of course, that's where CK is. So I'm sure the, 16, 18, 20-year-old girls going fucking nuts over there for CK. So I can't blame him. But he's got the Western Connecticut State University campus right there near his apartment.
Just going
And
by,
I'm
that's
sure
where-
that's probably
They're
what
like
it is.
Wildman Street. I know who lives
That's
there.
right.
Fuck.
That's right. So, but U.S. is the top country listening with 84% of our listeners, but Canada and the U.K. are number 2 and 3 respectively. So that's awesome. We were at 296,000 total listens when I checked it today.
Fucking A.
So we're going to crack 300,000 here in a week or so. So that's really awesome. So thank you to everybody,
on
wherever you're
listening.
listening. So.
Fuck yeah.
Now, Chris, Joey, got a lot on our plate tonight. Going to be heading west to the frigid Sierra Mountains of Northern California. It'd be a little nippy, a little snow
A
falling.
little bit shit.
Crazy story about these 5 young men disappearing, but only 4 bodies recovered. So,
Yeah, let's get our mystery on for sure.
fuck yeah.
The meaning of pain, the way that I want you to die. Slow death, immense decay, showers that cleanse you of your life. Forced in, like cattle you run, stripped out, your life work. Human mice, for the angel of death, 400,000 more to die. Angel of death, march to the kingdom of the dead. Sadistic.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Sadistic butcher.
That's one of my all-time favorite Slayer songs, man.
yeah.
The fucking Angel of Death. So brutal. Joseph Mengele. As you were saying, Joey, while we were listening to that, is, man, we got to do Mengele.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh,
need to do
yeah,
an
he's
angle
definitely
episode.
needs to be on the list because he is fucking
He's
sick as
legit
hell.
the angel of death.
He is,
Fuck.
was, but yeah,
Well,
what a
yeah, it was,
piece of
but-
fucking garbage. But yeah, that would be a good topic for another day. But tonight, of course, we're in our murder segment. And we got an interesting one, keeping with the creepy October theme. We mentioned Yuba County Five. Joey, a good one. Definitely a weird case from February 1978.
I was born in February 1978.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's funny. So what happened? Maybe some sort of weird tie-in.
Right.
Like
Maybe.
Shawback came into the world and like just some chaos and shit.
That's it. That's the end of the world now.
That's very possible. The Antichrist was born. But
if they had all died of alcohol poisoning, then I would believe it then.
that's funny. Now, Joey, you suggested this one, as we said, and I find it very fascinating. Now, how did you stumble upon this one? Because it's a good one.
Yeah, when I first heard about Yuba County 5 was actually because I lived down in Southern California, and I hung out with this buddy Mark, and he would take me hiking some of the spots up there because
cool.
He was a local, so he knew where to go. And he's the one that first told me about it because he knew I was into
True crime shit, fucking shit like
serial
that, yeah.
killers and all that.
Right.
So he told me that tale, which of course was creepy as we're climbing up these fucking mountains and shit,
Right,
and I'm
what
like,
the
okay,
fuck?
well that's fucking crazy because who knows what the fuck could happen up in these motherfuckers.
Right.
But no, that's how I first heard about it, and like he told me his rendition, which is probably just like how everybody from out there tells it.
Right, the local story.
But then, of course, I was so fascinated by it, I had to get on the internet and fucking look up all the shit I could about it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good story. I think it's very interesting. And like we've said, it fits very well with the topic at hand and the kind of the creepy theme. Chris, what about you? Had you heard about this before Joey brought it up?
Honestly, no. I
Yeah,
never
me
even
either,
had
man.
no idea, dude.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I always love it when one of us brings up something the others had never even heard of, because that is rare with people that follow the shit like we all do. you know?
Right.
Another thing that I love about this story, and I'm glad we're doing it, is because it's discussion worthy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But also because it doesn't have a definite closing to
No,
it.
yeah,
Right.
So there's still mystery beyond where
Yeah.
the story ended. So I always love
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, I agree. It leaves a lot to the imagination. Now, so you guys know what we're talking about here. We've got 5 young men from Yuba City, California, which is Northern California, up there by Sacramento, a town of about 65,000 when I checked it. So it might have been a little different in 1978, but probably not much.
Right.
4 of the group are mentally challenged and knew each other for years because they were members of a local group that supported those with special needs called Gateway. And, the 4 men that I'm talking about, Bill Sterling was 29, Jack Hewitt, 24, Ted Wyther, I think is how you say that, 32. So he was the oldest, and Jack Madruga, who was 30. Now, the 5th one, Gary Mathias, he was 25, but he was not mentally challenged like the rest. So he had some issues, Chris.
Yeah, he's schizophrenia. Yeah, he's schizophrenic, taking medication for it and all that shit.
Yeah, he was an Army veteran who was discharged over that.
Right.
So he was a paranoid schizophrenic, like documented, diagnosed, discharged from the service, and put on meds, as you said. And Jack Madruga was also an Army vet, but Gary was new to the group, and some wondered how he was even part of Gateway,
Right.
since he was not mentally challenged himself. And we'll talk more about him, because this story, as it develops, Joey, it gets pretty wacky.
Yeah.
And certainly there's a lot of finger pointing at Gary Mathias.
Right.
I mean, and for obvious reasons, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And
I
like
can
we
see
said, this case is over 40 years old.
Yeah.
And,
God damn it, I am old, ain't I? Shit.
but it's a case that's never the questions have never been answered. So 40 years of questions getting tossed around.
Right.
Shit, there's bound to be.
Everybody's
sure.
got their own answer
Oh,
and thought
yeah.
and everything.
A lot
yeah.
of conspiracy theorists and UFO stuff and all
Yeah.
sorts of things. Now, they were known as the Boys to their family and friends, were also members of the basketball team at the Gateway Gators. So that's cool. They had their own team, and they were going to be part of this tournament. They were all fucking
Oh,
pumped
they were
up
loving
for this.
it, dude. About it.
Yeah, Special Olympics was putting it on. They were going to be in the first round, the Gateway Gators. That's all they were talking about. Gary was part of the team as well. And they had their parents, laying out their uniforms like a couple of days ahead.
Like being prepared as shit. Like super excited. They didn't want to miss any of it. They wanted to go.
And the big prize, though, Joey, was pretty cool, man. What were they going to... They were going to
go to, was it Disneyland in LA?
Yeah.
Anaheim, but outside LA. But yeah, they were going to get a trip to go to Disneyland, and that would have been huge for them.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
A week in Los Angeles. And I always get Disney World and Disneyland confused.
Right, yeah.
The boys were overall very good-natured, but Gary was definitely different, and he had become the leader of the group, and he often was the one that kind of decided where they were going to go, what they were going to do, and the other parents did not like him a whole lot. And Joey, I do find it odd that Gary Mathias was even part of this group at Gateway. I mean, did you find out or know anything?
I was even I was looking up some other stuff, that I still hadn't read about more recently whenever we were doing the podcast now. And like there were other accounts and they were just like, nobody can explain how he became a part of that group. That group's been closed, and anybody that has been associated with it has been deceased.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's no way to ask or figure out how the hell he was part of it. Now, it is something to say that when he was a sophomore in high school, he got put into a psychiatric ward. His parents said he had a bad hallucinogenic trip on drugs.
Right. I remember hearing that.
Yeah, Gary Mathias basically had a problem with drugs all the way through most of his life.
Yeah.
Through the whole time he was in the military. I mean, which definitely he was a schizophrenic, and doing hallucinogens is like...
Not a good idea.
No, that's like...
It's a great idea, bro. Come on.
When he was in, when he was in the military, he also went AWOL. And when he got caught, he was in the, brig or whatever they call it.
Right.
And he called, these guards to the door. And they come and open it, and he's naked. He fucking comes out, and he blasts one in the face. And he said that's how he was trying to get out of there. But I guess my point is, with all these things that he did, maybe there was somewhere in there that he was suggested to go to this group for his problems. Maybe not that he was mentally challenged, but because he had these other psychiatric problems.
Right.
Is somehow he was pointed that way. I'm not sure. So
yeah, it's very possible.
That's the only thing I can think. But yeah, like I said, they other people, reporters stuff, have tried to find that answer.
Right.
No one can find an answer.
That's
how
crazy.
He became associated with them.
Yeah, because they were very easily, influenced.
Yes.
So if you've got somebody with fucking paranoid schizophrenia leading a group of guys that are very easily influenced because of their mental disabilities, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
and that should have never happened.
No.
A couple of the men had IQs in the low 40s, so anything below 70 is mentally challenged. So these guys were, a couple of them were really, really mentally challenged.
That's what I was trying to wonder. The one guy, I can't remember his name now, the one that was also a vet.
Madruga.
Yeah.
Yes, Madruga. Like how he made it into the military under that situation.
Yeah, if it was like Vietnam, I could see because they
they're
were
pretty much
probably
taking
letting about
anybody,
anybody
yeah.
in
Okay,
there.
yeah,
But
that's
he
what I
would
was
have had to
wondering.
pass some basic tests. But I mean, there's
they
jobs you
weren't-
could do in the military that you don't have to have a high IQ to
Right.
do. You got to have, strength or endurance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his job was, but I mean, being able to follow orders and be a good soldier, you don't necessarily have to have a out of the park IQ.
Right.
As a matter of fact, a lot of the best soldiers are not, the smartest guys in the bunch, because a lot of the smartest guys in the bunch think that that's what they are and don't fucking listen.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
So they try to beat that out of you in basic training, but some don't ever stop.
Like, no,
They don't
I'm
last long.
Yeah, I'm smarter than you. You can kiss my
they're
ass.
just not
Yeah.
good. Now, Bill Sterling, he hated the outdoors, and Jack Hewitt hated to be away from home for very long. Ted Wyther had lacked the basic common sense, his family said, such as understanding why you had to stop at a stop sign or why Mickey Mantle could hit a ball further than him. I mean, it's sad, but that's the mental capacity we're talking about here. Jack Madruga had problems holding down a job, but loved this fucking car he had. So all the stuff that happens to them just doesn't make any sense. And as you said, Joey, the story of Matthias is very different than the rest. These drug problems definitely made worse in the Army. He's discharged in 1973 because of all these problems and the drug and alcohol use. Also, of course, being a paranoid schizophrenic, even though Vietnam was still happening, that was how bad it was. He definitely got out. And he was, if he was on the meds, his family said he was all right. But if he was off them, not so much.
Right.
Apparently his sister was the same way, because I saw or listened to something that had the brother, or maybe it was the Sacramento Bee article, some reference to a brother-in-law who was divorced from his sister, that said that both Gary and the sister both were the same way.
And had the
And if they were on their meds, it was all right.
no
But if
shit.
not, watch out.
Oh,
So,
I could only imagine two of them, man.
I
Yeah.
saw something else with, I don't know if it was his parents or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't-
Killed themselves.
it was something, like that.
But definitely the family had other history.
Oh, yeah.
of
There was a
mental
big
issues.
time history here that I'm sure had something to play in this whole mess. There were, accounts of some of the things that he did off his meds that we'll get into later. He was being treated at a VA hospital for the schizophrenia, and somehow, like we said, ended up in Gateway with these others. He was also working part-time, I saw, for his dad's landscaping business.
Which at this time that he ended up with the guys at Gateway and he was doing that, from all accounts, he was doing very well.
He was doing much better.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right.
been on his medication for like 2 years,
Right.
like good or whatever.
Right. So, I mean, maybe he was making strides to improve, and they thought Gateway would be a good,
Right.
give him something to do, playing basketball with these dudes. Other than the fact that, he had, of course, these underlying issues. The boys decide to take a trip to Chico, California, which is about an hour from them, to cheer on their favorite college basketball team from UC Davis in an away game against Chico State. It was the night before the tournament where they were supposed to be playing. I found this kind of odd. They were functional. Jack Madruga, of course, drove them in this 1969 Mercury Montego. He loved
Dude, I
that
actually looked
fucking
that
car.
up. It's a pretty tight looking car, man.
I saw
Fuck.
that too. Yeah, it is pretty tight.
I'd drive the shit out
It
of it.
was a turquoise one too. It looked really sharp. Jack was the only one, aside from Matthias, that even had a driver's license. And Jack was also very possessive of the car. And
Yeah, they
just
can't
loved
imagine he wouldn't let somebody else drive it after you.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked, dude.
Yeah, and this story, as we get into it, these things matter. So that's why I definitely wanted to make a point about the car. Now, Chris, I'm finding it hard to believe a trip like this in the winter is a good idea for these guys, especially the night before the big game. What do you think? Why did the parents let them do it?
I mean, they've been friends for a long time, and there are a couple of them that are they're good enough and they taking care of each other. But I mean, how can you really stop them?
I mean, it's a
said,
different time, and maybe the parents thought, they're good kids.
And who was it? Who was it, though, that you
they've
said-
been working hard. They're all excited, fired up.
Right.
Let
they're
them
all
go.
they're all friends. It's not that far away. Let's go to this game. We're gonna watch it. Get prepared, excited for tomorrow, basically for our game.
Right.
So like, whatever. But there was that one dude that wouldn't leave his house because they were scheduled. Like
Right.
basically they were all scheduled, like how they did things, programmed basically. And
Right.
that one dude that wouldn't leave his house when it was burning because he was tired and it wasn't part of his schedule. Didn't
And he had to
understand.
go to work or something
he was
like
trying
that.
to sleep
Yeah,
for
he was-
work or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about, like you said, people on very tight schedules. So doing anything out of the ordinary, definitely a lot, would have taken a lot out of them. Now, it's crazy that they wore, again, it's winter time, but they probably figured they're going to go from the car into the
Inside
the gym
in the
and then
venue,
back to the
back
car.
out, yeah.
They wore light clothing, and at the moment, that doesn't seem like an issue. But of course, none of them are ready for what's about to fucking happen.
And one of their mom even asked or said, "Hey, take your jacket." It's like,
Yeah.
"No, I ain't gonna need it tonight." Like, "Oh, you're gonna need it tonight."
Right? But in February, Northern California, it gets cold. They do get snow, and I'm surprised the parents were okay with them going. I'm not sure how good the Montego would be in the snow.
Right.
It was definitely a sharp-looking car, but I mean, I'm not sure about road handling ability in a snowstorm. So that's why I am surprised.
They ended up not even being on really the road.
Right.
Yeah, they're not like the actual
Yeah, they were
road.
like really in the sticks.
Yeah.
So anyway, the UC Davis won the game, so they're all fucking fired up. They left the venue. They drove a short distance to Bears Market in Chico to buy some snacks, and it said they got some milk and sodas and candy bars and shit like that. Cashier remembered seeing them that night because she, said they showed up right before she was getting ready to close.
Because
so she was pissed.
Yeah, pissed off like all these dudes coming in. Like,
yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. She's ready to close. But, Joey, it is strange how they bought random stuff like that. So they're definitely not planning on what winds up happening. Would you agree?
Yeah, it doesn't seem that way.
But then is it their mental ability? See, that's what I wonder. If they thought they were going to do what we're going to talk about.
Right.
You or I or Chris would definitely prepare differently than these guys. So I wonder, were they that naive that they just didn't think they were going to need anything?
And that's where all the unknown speculation comes in because who knows what kind of bullshit Matthias is feeding them.
Right.
Telling them, hey, we're going to a party or who knows what.
Sure.
So grab some snacks, whatever.
Right.
Or on the other hand, did he never say nothing, or was he just,
it was just a thing.
never guilty of none of this shit?
Right.
We
just
have no
don't
idea.
know. We just don't know.
But
That's
it
right.
seems like that could be part of the situation. Like, why else,
Well, he was usually calling the shots.
Exactly.
So they were kind of prepared.
Right.
That was their thing, as they followed what he told them to do. But again, like you said correctly, Joey, we don't know. We're just throwing, ideas around. Now, that was the last time anyone would see them again that we're sure of. There's that one lady that said she saw him the next day, but we'll get to that. When they didn't come home, the police were called the next morning to report them missing. This would be the start of an investigation that would just baffle the authorities. To this day, we really don't know, as we've
what
said.
happened to him at all, yeah.
A few days later, I can't imagine these parents must have just been beside themselves. A few days later, the 1969 turquoise Mercury Montego is reported by a park ranger at the Plumas National Forest. They had a heavy snowstorm the night of the disappearance, and he saw the car then, but he said he didn't report it because it was kind of, you saw people parked there when they'd go hiking.
Right.
But then when he saw the car show up on a report that it was missing,
and it's like, oh wait, I know where I fucking seen that car.
Yeah, I seen that car.
I still have to wonder. I mean, who knows what this dude was thinking or anything like that, but you would have to wonder a car like that in those conditions, and then all of a sudden it's snowing. It's like, wait, where are these people, and what the hell are they out doing?
Go look
yeah,
for them
I know.
point?
I was kind of surprised too that
Like,
anybody
why not
used to
just
driving in the
report it?
mountains
Yeah.
is not going to be driving a car like this.
Right.
So that to me also seems kind of strange. But he reports it, and so they find it. And the strange thing, though, is the Plumas National Forest, Chris, is a little bit away from Chico.
It is not as close as they thought they were going. It's 70 miles away. And
70 miles in bad weather in a fucking mountain, dude. I mean, this road was like gravel
in the
and shit.
snowstorm, like no good.
They were definitely the opposite direction of the way they should have been going back to Yuba City. This is the fucking Sierra Mountains, rough and bumpy road. The fact the car was not scraped up at the bottom,
Right.
the cops from up there said, you have to know how to drive up here to not tear your car up.
Because they said even some of like the conservation vehicles and shit had fucking shit from bottoming out. And this little car didn't. So it's like, how the fuck did it get there?
Right. Very, very strange. Was Jack driving it that slowly that he was able to hold it together? I don't know. Was someone else driving? We don't fucking know.
Did UFOs pick it up and put it there?
Right. We don't fucking know. Did CCK come in?
Right.
Did Dominus fucking do it? We don't know. All right. Did the man with spots come and do it? I don't know. So, very, very strange part of the story, but the strangeness is just getting started here. But we all know that Jack would not have willingly let somebody drive this car.
No, hell no.
So that leads you to wonder what happened. Now, Joey, there are obviously some theories about who ended up out there. One of them was that Matthias had some friends in the area between Chico and this forest where the car is, and that possibly they could have taken a wrong turn. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a possibility, but if that's the case, like, where are those friends and why aren't they speaking up? And Gary Matthias is still missing. So
one of the
if he had some friends that met him there and picked him up because they were doing some bogus shit to these guys or something, maybe that's a little more understandable.
Yeah.
If they were in on something, but still, that doesn't even seem likely because there wasn't any like robbery or anything like that. So
one of the documentaries I was watching was saying that they even contacted those friends, like, we haven't heard from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Now, have you
Which
guys
doesn't
seen
mean
that?
they weren't covering for him. Just saying.
Oh, sure. Now, have you guys seen the docuseries Murder Mountain?
I have not.
It's really good. It's definitely worth checking out. But that is up in Northern California. It's where the pot farms are up there.
Right.
It's some fucking
I haven't seen it, but I know what
gnarly
you're talking
fucking
about.
shit that happens up there. I was wondering how close these guys were to that, because if they got tangled up in some of that
Somebody's
shit,
weed growing shit,
that would-
especially back in '78.
yes, but I looked on map, I Googled it, 6 hours away. I'm like, okay, that was definitely not it.
Yeah.
I just had no idea. I'm thinking Northern California, gee, how close are they to Humboldt County?
Right.
Because that's what they call it, murder. The cops fucking call it that. I mean, it's some brutal shit. Definitely check that out. That's a good docuseries. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it still is or not.
Yeah,
also-
I haven't seen it, but I knew it was on Netflix.
But I wondered if they could have had something to do with this, but I don't think so.
Which that would make sense too. But on the other hand, none of these dudes were like executed or anything like that.
Right. There was not no
True.
bullet holes in the head or
Right.
anything
True.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if that
It's
would have
so
been the
strange.
case, they'd have got shot up or beat to death. Now, the families of the boys found it odd, since none of them were familiar with this area, that they would have even gone there. As you said, Chris, creatures of habit, schedules, they
Like,
weird
don't wanna
out
go there.
in even the slightest change. So Jack Madruga's family found it very strange that he would have taken his car on a road like that in a snowstorm, based on the way he was with that car. The keys were missing at the time. They were not in the car, and one of the windows was down, which also would have been strange for Jack. He always locked it up and rolled all the windows up.
Kept it
He was
safe. It's his
very,
pride, it's
very
his pride and joy.
Yes.
And he loved that shit.
Yeah, totally understand. The police found wrappers for the snacks around the car and a candy bar partially eaten in the back seat. So just really weird. Now, Chris, the car had about a quarter tank of gas, wasn't stuck in the snow. So, I mean, what do you make of this so far? I mean, I know we got more of the story to go, but
Something had to get them out of the car, fucking, for some reason, to not stay. If the car was stuck, which come find out it literally able to go, but
right.
if fucking, even if you were stuck, I would at least stay in the car and stay warm. Even if you gotta start the car and turn it off every now and again just to conserve. That way it's not running constantly. You're not dying off carbon monoxide fumes coming into the car.
Right.
Because once you get like that, but something had to get them out of the car. And and nobody, it's fucking weird because that's what I would have done.
Right.
Especially in that, not knowing where you're at, because there's no way they knew where they were at.
No, and you wonder, because of their diminished capacity, if they just what seems
What do we
common
do?
sense
Should
to
we
us,
just get out and go this way?
to them, we're going to go get some help,
Right.
and they walk off.
Should have
hard
just
to
used
say.
their damn cell phone.
Yeah, right. Could have Facebook live Facebook.
Right, like, hey, somebody come out here and get me, man.
So one of the interesting parts of the story has to do with the man, Joe Shones, who was in the mountains that night in February checking the conditions of the roads and stuff for a family ski trip he was getting ready to take. He finds himself in a fucking situation,
bad
though.
situation.
Holy shit. His car gets stuck in the snow, and he's trying to push it out. He has a fucking mild heart attack. Definitely not a
God
good
damn, that
fucking
would
deal.
suck.
Yeah.
In a snowstorm, he's in a world of shit. He has to, what we were just talking about, Chris, stay the night in the car, turning it on and off, conserving gas. He's stuck in this car for 6 hours. He claims he sees the lights of a truck behind him. Of course, he's ecstatic. He's got some fucking help. And out of the truck steps a group of men with a woman and a fucking baby.
Which seems fucking crazy in a fucking
Very
snowstorm.
weird, right? And this is what he's claiming he saw. He said that he saw them outside of his car. He called to them for help. Then the headlights shut off, and then the group walked away by flashlight, and then the flashlights abruptly went off. This is what he told police, and he also said he heard whistling among them as they walked off.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. Joey, this is odd as hell. The boys' parents said this was not like them to leave someone like that, especially in trouble. There was some story about them bringing somebody to the hospital,
right? Yeah,
like prior to this, of a kid that was like overdosing or something was going on. So I wonder if he really saw them. Did he see somebody else, or was this dude like out of his fucking mind from what he was going through?
The heart attack.
To
cold,
imagine
fucking...
he saw a woman and a baby and the whistling. I mean,
yeah, I mean that seems to be plausible at this point because I don't see where else any of this comes in.
Right.
It just adds to the mystery, another strange thing that occurred. And
it
the
really
other
does.
Thing, I mean, this dude, if he really believes that's what happened, he has no reason to make this up at all anyway.
Right.
It's not like
he stands nothing to gain.
No,
it wasn't like he was trying to sell movie rights
exactly,
or something.
Yeah. Like, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe it was just part of delusions on his part, but if not, I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know either. Chris, what do you make of this shit?
Yeah, I'm about the same way because I would freak out if that shit. I was stuck in the snow, all of a sudden lights, and there's like a bunch of dudes and a lady holding a baby, and the lights cut
right.
out. I'd freak the fuck out, dude. Like,
and plus
what the hell is happening right now?
There's so many questions because it's like, okay, what if this is the vehicle that came and picked up Gary Mathias? And that was his friends or his people or whatever.
Right.
And he took off with them. Okay, so we still will never answer the question why those dudes all just stayed where they were at.
Right.
So the
possibility,
I'm just saying another possibility, the headlights is somebody that Gary knew, and that's how he disappeared.
Right.
They pick Gary
now, you know,
up,
another possibility, we haven't even got into it, is it could have been fucking Nihilist Jello as the pigster. Came out of nowhere. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
So, yeah, crazy with the Joe Schoen story. He runs out of gas the next morning. So this motherfucker walks 8 miles to a fucking hunting lodge to get some help. How fucking brutal is that?
After
Walks
having a
8
heart attack
miles,
and
has a
shit.
fucking heart attack before that.
Right.
Slept in his fucking car for 6 hours. I mean, holy shit. Now, the hospital that treated him confirmed he had the heart attack. So, I mean, it was legit. Now, the Montego was found about a mile from where Joe Schoen's car was found, but it's uncertain if this was the source of the headlights.
A mile away is freaking kind of far away. So, I mean,
it is.
The headlights are on that bright, and you're seeing people that's closer, way closer than a mile.
I would agree. It's just very hard to say.
And he was adamant it was a truck.
Right.
Right.
He's saying it was a red truck, right?
And with that many people in the car, or the truck would make more sense than a car, but I guess if it was a boat, I don't know if a Montego, how many people you could fit in it, but he was saying 5 guys, a woman, and a baby, for Christ's sake. That's a...
Hey, man, it's back in the 70s. Babies don't need to be in baby seats. I know I wasn't.
No, well, yeah, well, I know that. I know that. So it definitely makes you wonder, but it does seem coincidental that it was found so close, but not quite close enough to make it look like truck lights in your rearview mirror.
Right.
So I don't know what's up with that. Now, there was a clerk at a small store in Brownsville, which is about 30 miles away from where they found the car, who says she believes she saw the boys. The store was on the same road as where the car was, just 30 miles away. The following afternoon, she says she saw them. This would have been the day they were supposed to be at the game. So that seems odd. Days later, she identified them from flyers that she had seen. So she saw them, didn't think anything of it, saw the flyers.
It was
oh,
like, hey,
wow.
I just saw
Plus,
those
there was
guys.
like a $1,200 reward at the time.
Right, like, oh, I seen them.
So that's one of the things people suspect that she made this up just for that. but I don't know what she would have gained because it's not like I don't know what.
You don't get a reward if they're not found.
Right.
Like,
So hard to say. The manager actually of the store agreed with her, but who knows? They could have been in cahoots. But she said that she saw they were definitely not from the area. Of course, back in the day, there were no video cameras. Today, we would have been able to see that and corroborate that.
Right.
But she said that, she definitely saw that they didn't look like they were from there. And Joey, she said two of them, Bill Sterling and Jack Hewitt, were using a phone there. And Jack's family was like, I don't think so. Why was that?
And I feel like if those guys had been calling anybody, they probably only had a group core of people that they would have known their numbers. They would have called, and one of those people would have been like, "Hey, yeah, I got a call from them."
Well,
and
sure.
No one ever did.
Right. And Jack hated using the phone. His brother said he used to have to take messages for him when his friends would call,
like because
he didn't even want to talk to them, let alone just anybody. So it doesn't make much sense.
That is a good point. They would have just back in the day core of numbers that you knew and nobody got a call from.
That's a good point.
That's a good call, Cash. I didn't think of that.
Now, Chris, it would seem odd that the guys would have missed the basketball game that they were so fucking fired up about. So I wonder if they just lost track of time, didn't realize it.
They lost track of time real bad, I guess, because they were never found for a long time. So it definitely makes it really odd that they were so excited about this game, been about, like we talked about earlier, having the clothes laid out, ready to go about it. And
now they're off on a excursion.
Yeah, it's just
buying
off
snacks
somewhere.
at convenience stores and
Gotta
walking
get a
around.
Snickers and walk around in the snow. Fuck
very, very weird.
Game.
Now, the story keeps getting stranger, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heavy snowstorms are continuing through the winter, so this is a bad winter up there. In June, they still haven't seen any, sign of these guys. 4 months after their disappearance, a very strange discovery is made. A group of motorcyclists up in the area stop at a campsite, which is where these trailers were kept, about 19 miles from where Madruga's car was found.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking hike.
That's a fucking long hike.
In the fucking mountains, up the fucking hill,
in the fucking snow.
I mean, that's how my grandpa used to walk to work.
and back. Yeah.
And back, both uphill. The cabin was set up for hikers if the weather got bad. It was stocked by the National Park Service, which is smart. Clothes, blankets, food, books, water, heating, gas for propane heaters and shit. They stocked this place up in case somebody got stuck in the bad weather.
Like, I think I had something like 2 months of supplies or something.
No,
they said
there was a year supply
dry food. They had a year.
Fed all 5 of them for a year.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, upon entering the trailer, an overwhelming stench of death was present, so they knew something was up. They went and got the cops. They find the body of Ted Withers in the bunk bed, covered with 8 sheets tucked in all around his body, even his head. So there would have been no way he could have done that himself. Autopsies of this motherfucker, he's got gangrene and his feet are so frostbit. 5 of his toes are missing.
Toes, right?
The agony, they said, would just be unfucking
They
believable.
said there's no way he could have covered himself because he would have just been in so much fucking pain that he wouldn't have been able to fucking move.
Yeah, there's no way. The body under autopsy shows he died from hunger and hypothermia. And based on his beard growth, the authorities felt he had been there for at least 13 weeks.
I saw 8 to 13 weeks. That's
crazy.
Up in that fucking cabin, just cold, hypothermia,
freezing
not
and
eating,
starving.
with the food right there too.
Right.
Which is,
he lost 100 pounds. He was 200 pounds going in. He was 100 pounds coming out. On the table next to him was found a watch that was not his, which is very mysterious, but a ring and a necklace that was his. He was found without shoes on, and the police believed the watch was a clue, but never were able to figure out whose it was. But none of the families said it was their kids.
It's like it definitely didn't belong to him.
Yeah. So Joey, it makes sense that Ted. It doesn't make sense, I should say, that Ted would die of hunger with all the food so close by. But I mean, you're talking a year's supply of freeze-dried stuff and other supplies that he could have been eating.
And, okay, so this dude loses some of his toes and probably isn't up for walking and moving around himself, so maybe that's why he couldn't get up and find the food. However, like you said, he was initially tucked in somewhere.
Right.
By someone.
Right.
And if they found him and he was still covered up like that, then he obviously hadn't shifted and moved or wasn't active enough, at the end of his life.
Yeah, maybe he was dead and whoever it was tucked him in and fucking take off.
Right.
So the shoes.
So that adds to it.
Or
Okay.
his boots, because he had boots, I think.
Right. So that makes you think, okay, out of these 5 guys, here's one dead, and the possibility that any of these other ones were dead or alive after him.
Right.
It's like you try to come up with timelines for this, and it's just fucking ridiculous.
Right.
But there are certain things that you got to show, and it's like, yes, obviously somebody was alive after him.
Right.
But who, why, or what? And why didn't those people get the food? Why didn't they set something up to get the heat going? Maybe they didn't know how.
That's true. I mean, Chris, do you think that Ted lacked the common sense that he wouldn't have eaten if he was starving to death and couldn't have been able to use the propane?
I mean, possibly that. But as far as the
fireplace wasn't even used.
Yeah, there was no
fire.
So yeah, maybe they didn't have a way to light, which I'm sure there was matches, and so there had to be a fucking way to do it. They got everything else.
Right.
Why you're not going to have some matches or something there?
I'm sure there was stuff there. Yeah.
Lamps. As far as the food, I do know that Gary, that the can opener they had to use is like a military style.
The P-38.
The P-38 can openers.
Yeah.
So if he was the only one there at the time and he didn't know how to, I'm not sure what they look like or not.
Yeah, I was actually trying to find mine and I couldn't find it, but they're very small. I mean, it's like the size of like 1/2 to 3/4 of your pinky.
Really?
And it's got a little swivel on it, and the swivel comes off, and it looks like a little hook. And you push it in the can and you manually open it that way. It would not be obvious to me if I wasn't in the military and saw that and thought, oh, that's a can opener.
Right.
Because a lot of guys put those on their keychains in the Army.
I did see also that there was another cache of food or whatever that was outside. There was like 35 cans of that they had been opened and eaten. Right. Yes.
So they ate some of it.
But then there was a whole nother year's supply of food.
Right. I know. It doesn't make any sense.
So strange, dude.
Now, the search parties established to look for the other men. They found the bodies of Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling about 4 miles from the trailer on opposite sides of the road. Autopsies would show they died of hypothermia. Jack had the keys to the car in his pocket, so that's weird. One of the bodies was ravaged by animals and the bones are scattered about. And this is fucking crazy. Jack Hewitt's father was part of the search party.
Looking for him.
Even though they told him not to, he did anyway, and he finds
his jacket.
Oh, man, he picked up his son's jacket and his spine fell out of it. That was the only thing left. That's fucked up.
I thought they found his skull like 100 yards away.
They found the skull like 300 feet away. Yeah. But at that moment, that's all
it's like,
that
oh,
was
shit,
there.
That's all that's left of my kid. I got your back, son.
Yeah, right. That's fucking brutal, man. So that's tough stuff. They did confirm it was him. He had his shoes, his clothes were nearby, and then later they found the skull, I think the following day, 300 feet away, and dental records confirmed it was Jack. So I don't know, guys, about the way these bodies are found and Ted in the trailer. I mean, do you guys have any rational thought here? Do you think everybody said after Ted died they were like, let's get out of here, and they all left? Or do you think they maybe left one at a time? I just don't know,
I kind of feel like the 3 of them, or whoever was left, fucking just left. Either that or Ted might have got away from Gary and he found the fucking goddamn.
See, I think
trailer.
Gary's sneakers were in the trailer, and they believe he took Ted's boots. because he didn't have
bigger
boots.
size and shit. Yeah.
So he wore the boots and left his shoes at the trailer.
Right.
So Matthias was at that trailer, I think, at some point. But 19 fucking miles they would have had to walk to get to that fucking shit is crazy. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know how else you would have got there. It wasn't like they were getting airlifted by helicopters. So
They didn't have snowmobiles.
No. I mean, this is rough fucking terrain here we're talking about. We're not talking about a little walk in the woods. This is like professional hiking type situation.
He's like, hey, guys, we're going to go snipe hunting tonight.
Snipe. You ever hunted snipe before?
Now, the fact that Matthias is never found more than 40 years later, definitely makes you wonder, what happened with that. Did he take Ted's boots and just take off and never was found? His body is the only one they haven't found. As you mentioned, Chris, the sea ration cans, that's what they used to use before MREs were a thing. When I was in the Army, we used to eat sea rats every now and then. They were actually really good. They would bring them in the field and come like those Encore, like lasagna, like those big old fucking metal pan, and it all like the foil cover on it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're like. And used to use the P-38 to open them. And they were really good. They had a really good pound cake, I remember. That was the shit.
Right.
So some of these sea rats weren't too bad, but then the MREs came around, and of course you could put them in your pocket, so they were.
And they're all dry and what the fuck.
No, the MREs were like they came in pouches, and they were.
It's got soup like beef stew and shit like that.
Yeah,
got some at home.
Tuna casserole, and they would keep for 10 years. And the thought of eating tuna casserole that's 10 years old in a pouch was kind of gross, but some of them were really good. So. Only Matthias and Madruga probably would have used the P-38. I'm not saying the others couldn't. I just don't know if it would have been obvious if you didn't know what it was that's how you open that can.
Well, in Madruga, I didn't see any. I mean, he had his keys,
right?
And I didn't see anything where he had that on his keychain.
No, I didn't either. I didn't either. So most people. Studied this case, have really looked closely at Gary Matthias because he's the only one that, wasn't intellectually challenged. He had the schizophrenia. He's obviously going to be off his meds if he's in the woods for fucking weeks. The family was reluctant to help the police figure out what happened to him.
That was some weird shit.
Yeah, and they were the only family that was that way. Matthias had serious issues with violence. He had many different episodes before, during, and after his time in the Army. And as I mentioned, he had some friends in Forbesville, which was not that far away. But as you said, they talked to them. They said they never heard from him. At least that's what they claim. Now, Joey, I know we talked a little bit about some of the violent acts. You talked about he attacked him in jail.
Right.
The hitchhiking,
Dude,
that's
when he got out of
crazy.
that hospital.
Yeah, what was that deal, Chris?
Oh, fucking, he escaped, basically.
Well, wasn't he at school or something, and he didn't want to be there, and his mom and dad wanted him home?
Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah,
So he hung up the phone, and then
they were trying to get him to come back, and supposedly, because this is
he
by
was
his
in
account,
Washington State,
right,
Yeah.
and he made it all the way back down there, and when he shows up, he's like fucking super disheveled and everything else. Supposedly, from his accounts, he survived because he hitchhiked,
right,
and walked and everything.
500 or
Yeah.
600
Walked.
miles,
500, yeah, and he said that he survived by stealing dog food and milk off
people's porches,
Yeah.
because that was back when they still deliver milk and shit. Yeah.
Supposedly, he escaped 3 hospitals.
Right.
One of them, he came through the fucking
Shawshank Redemption,
Shawshank style, yeah,
through the fucking
drainage
drain.
ditch.
I wondered if that's where Stephen King got the idea for that.
You know,
Right.
Seriously.
Something else he did was a couple other things, but when he got discharged, medical discharge from the Army, the same month that he got discharged, he's at his cousin's house.
Right.
His cousin has a 17-year-old wife She was on medication for something that was wrong with her.
Right.
That night, the cousin, wondering why it's taken Gary so long to use the restroom, walks in, finds him straddling his fucking passed out wife, fondling her breasts.
Right.
And, he gets charged for that.
Right.
But
that must have been a fucked up confrontation.
Yeah, but he ended up
What the
not
fuck?
getting in trouble for that because he did get in trouble for the cops ordeal when he hit them.
Right.
Something went on where he pled to one, the other one got dropped or
Right.
whatever.
Something like that.
But that did happen. And then there was another case like right before all this shit happened, because there was like the coach for that Gators basketball team and all that. Like that dude said, yeah, even when he had his shit together there at the end, you still always felt like something might go down with that dude.
Oh yeah.
And there was some other incident that also occurred where somebody in Yuba, whenever he got back down there, found them in their house. He had busted out a window.
I do remember
opened
that.
the lock, came in, and
So
they
he's
were
looking
like,
for
"What
a-
are you doing?" And he
looking
was
for
like,
a ring
"I'm
for
looking
Satan?"
for a ring for Satan to
I do
return to Satan."
remember. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an incident with like a 3-year-old too? He was
Yeah.
going to kill a 3-year-old or something.
I don't know if he was going to kill her or what, but he said that he would like shoot her jaw off or something like that, something with her jaw. And that's whenever the family's like, "You got to go." He had also, I can't remember who the hell he was talking to about this, but he even made claims before all this shit happened that he had dreams that him and several people disappeared.
I do recall
Yes.
that. Yeah,
That, which is just
That is fucking
either
bizarre.
weird or
recall that.
just straight up foreshadowing.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, Nina. Chris, what do you think about Gary Mathias? I mean, do you think these guys got hooked up with some bad people that maybe he knew, or maybe they ran into at the game, or maybe Mathias took off and the rest of them just didn't know what to do and ended up in bumfuck Egypt? I mean, there's this red pickup truck that the guy Joe Shones said he saw, and then that woman at the convenience
Saw
store
the
said
red
she
truck.
saw him in a red truck.
And Gary
So what the
obviously
hell?
didn't, if he was going to be out there by himself on some bullshit, you would think he would have stole Matthias's car.
right. Why wouldn't you take the car? Why would you walk that 20 miles through the bullshit?
Right.
Like, don't make sense. I mean,
It doesn't.
I guess
and
it
then
helps.
Jack had the keys in his pocket the whole
Yeah,
time.
so there's no
it's
way
like
you
fucking
might-
weird.
I
Like
don't
if
know.
they stole his car, why wouldn't they have kept it? And how did he have the keys? It doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
I do think that if Matthias had anything to do with their deaths, that it was after they got to the fucking cabin, he didn't have his medication. He just started flipping his shit.
Sure.
And now, who are you people? Like, just wigged out.
Could have.
I mean, I could see that
yeah.
happening, but
Totally. Oh yeah,
As it comes to-
especially if you're snowed in like that,
As
you
it
start
comes-
weirding
but-
out,
but
like The Shining,
But all the coroners, from like Ted's that was still in the trailer and shit, his body and one other body, they straight up said though that was from exposure and hypothermia is how they died. There was no like
Right.
any signs of any other
Right, he didn't
blunt
attack
force
him.
trauma.
They weren't
no,
killed by homicide. Or,
yeah, it was
Right.
no sign of homicide at all. Yeah,
Right. Now, one of the podcasts I listened to mentioned that Matthias would have most likely been able to get out of those mountains since he had done that 100-mile walk or hundreds of miles of walking. I would argue that walking on a fucking road is a far cry from in the mountains in the snow.
Yeah, way big. different.
I wonder if the guys that do the podcast I listened to that said that have ever actually walked in the woods, because I've been hunting with my dad before, and that's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Especially 19 miles of it. Holy shit. Without the right gear.
No,
That's definitely not a comparison to make that he was able to get from Portland to Yuba City
Right.
now
by
being,
hitchhiking and stuff.
I didn't see anything. I know none of the other guys had anything found on him, but being that trailer as a safe zone in case people did get lost, maybe there might have been hiking gear there, and
Yeah.
he just took it all. But
It's possible.
that's a lot of stuff to take if there's not any there at all. Why would you have enough there for one person and not multiples? But
Right.
so-
And how do we know that there weren't other hikers there?
Right.
right.
You know, I mean, there
Previous.
could have been
Yeah.
other people holed up there when they got there and they got into some bad shit. I mean, it's hard to say, you know.
I mean, it's so strange. It's like the car is 19 miles from this cabin.
Right.
So if you bring these people up and you're trying to get to this cabin, like, okay, we're going to this cabin, we're going to party, I know where this spot's at.
Yeah.
But you don't park 19 miles away in those kind of conditions.
Right.
Definitely.
So
Unless he didn't realize it was that far.
right. So the probability that you come to now is that, okay, so these dudes obviously got out of this vehicle for whatever reason, probably got lost in these woods, ended up finding this cabin at some point, why they had the hypothermia, you know. But there's still a billion other questions that are unanswered even that way. So that's like that's the theory that's most thought.
Sure.
That they got out of the car, they fucking struggled through this fucking train. A couple of them made it to the spot. Gary probably, died, fell down a ravine, something, eaten by animals.
Sure.
But still, it doesn't answer anything, and it's still so weird why anything would go down the way it is, or why they would ever even get out of the car in the first place, or go up there in the first place.
Yeah,
so.
it's like you said, the more questions you try to answer, the more questions come up, I think Matthias, like you said, I think he was at the cabin. I think he decided after Ted died, take his boots, or before, I don't know. And he headed out, and I think he ended up in the same condition as the others. They just never found him. I mean, this is fucking steep, brutal terrain. I mean, he could have been anywhere and eaten by animals. You wouldn't have found anything.
And let's also look to the other side of this, because a lot of it's going to look negative towards Gary with a lot of your, suspicions and things.
Oh, sure.
The possibility is that it was never anything like that. Something totally fucking haphazard happened. They ended up in this place, and he did take the boots because he was going to go try to find help.
Sure, and he could have died trying to find help.
Right, so I mean,
course.
it might not have been a bogus thing at all. It's just we don't know.
That's right. That's right. Now, I hear a woman from Yuba City, Debbie Lynn Reese, said she got a mysterious call days after they disappeared. So as if this story wasn't weird enough, guys.
Right.
The man states on the phone, "I know where the missing 5 men are," and then he hangs up.
Yeah, and at that point, everybody knows who you're fucking talking about.
Yeah, I mean, she's in Yuba City, so I'm sure it's front, page news, of course. He calls back days later and says, "I need help because I hurt them bad." The following day, he called back and said, "Those guys are all dead."
And just hung up. That's
Very fucking weird. So who the fuck was that? Could that have been Matthias? And if it was, why would he refer to him as the five?
The 5 guys.
Could that have been the guy in the truck?
Could have been, right?
Yeah.
Could have been the pregnant woman on hormones,
right?
It could have been the baby itself.
I don't know. Or the woman with the baby.
Yeah, I don't know. Baby.
Could have been the baby.
Like,
could have been the pigster. Don't know.
Demon fucking baby.
So very, very, very weird. Now, another thing about Gary Matthias, you mentioned this, or we were talking about the brother-in-law, and then also the story that you mentioned, Joey, about the friend that said he would disappear.
Yeah.
He had dreams that he was going to disappear with others. So really weird. Unsolved Mysteries reached out to help the families, but the Gary Matthias family refused. The other families told the police that they felt Matthias had something to do with it. It definitely makes you wonder. I mean, he's the easy scapegoat here because he was
his
never
body
found.
was never found. So it's like, blame him.
But he could have been the same boat as all of them. They just
Right.
didn't make it. It's a sad story.
like you said, fall down a ravine and shit. Like somewhere where nobody's looking.
Because this dude
Right.
had zero reason to do anything like that, or to disappear, to make his life disappear.
Sure.
Right.
Because that's not easy either.
Yeah, and
that's
he was doing
definitely
really
not easy.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kicking ass.
Up to that point for
right,
him.
for
yeah.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
So now one of the comparisons I did see, if you do any research about this, you'll find too, they make a comparison to the Yuba County Five with a very bizarre incident in Russia at the Dyatlov Pass in 1959. Was a group of 9. There were actually 10, and one guy got sick and bowed out early. He was lucky. 9 very experienced Russian hikers that were killed in Siberia under very mysterious
And they were geared up.
They were geared up. They were pros.
Yeah, they were geared up.
And they all died, and they were like brutalized too, like tongues ripped out and some pretty gnarly shit. If that story interests you, go check out the Dyatlov Pass, Dyatlov. 1959 in Russia. Pretty crazy stuff. But I see the similarities only in the weirdness and the unanswered questions, but very different circumstances with professionals.
That's a good one for us to possibly visit.
It is a good one for us to do for sure. Anything to add, guys, to this tale of craziness?
I think we did all right on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think so, too. My research for this one was done with a couple of documentaries on YouTube. I also listened to a couple podcasts. I really like the True Crime guys. They had a good one on this. I just didn't agree with their assessment of how Matthias may have just walked out of those woods. But, to each his own. That's their take. But I do like their podcast, and it was a good episode. I also read a very good article in the Sacramento Bee that you can find if you Google this that came out a few years ago on an anniversary of the incident. And it also talks about how Matthias, his background more, and some of the things we referenced here about the violent history and his mental health issues. So if you want to read
an article by them, I saw that article, but also by the Bee, that's where I saw the one talking about his cousin and how he tried to fondle her and all that shit.
Yeah, there's some good stuff from the Sacramento Bee because, as we said, it's not far from Sacramento. Now, next time, we're going to be featuring another fucking bizarre case, Paul Bates and Chris.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching some documentaries. This is some fucked up shit here,
Dude's
man.
fucking pretty fucked up, man. He was in The Exorcist. He was an X-ray technician in the Exorcist movies.
So. He was a real-life X-ray tech.
And then he killed somebody.
And they think he was suspected of 6 others in the bag murders. Bodies dismembered floating down the Hudson River in bags. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one. We'll talk about that one next week. And a little bit of the curse that seems to surround that Exorcist movie. The set, the cast. There's some really creepy shit that's happened to those people. So you definitely don't want to miss that one next week.
No, sir.
Paul Bates and the bag murders. It's pretty interesting stuff. So we've done our fair share of murder tonight, guys. So I hear that familiar music.
Yes, sir.
CK doing his calisthenics, getting all ready to tear up some fucking metal knowledge. And Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
I want to rock! Let's get our metal on!
Known the world over as the master of metal, the crusher of posers, and Murder Metal Mayhem's knower of all things metal, hailing from Wild Van Street in Danbury, Connecticut, standing at 6 feet of brutal, punishing madness, weighing in at 220 pounds of poser pulverization, the one, the only, toughest bastard on the planet, Chris C.K. Kovacs!
What's up, man?
What's happening?
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, guys got his own fucking song and everything, Chris. Man, what the hell do you make of that?
Fucking bossing.
Fucking cocky son of a bitch comes strutting in here from Danbury, who actually unseated the mighty Chicago on the top 10. Joey, what do you make of that?
That's pretty wild, man.
All those women in Danbury just swooning over some CK.
He's got his whole fucking harem.
He does, man. Or maybe all the women from the volleyball are now over at his apartment. I don't know, but you got some people listening over there, CK.
Yeah, kind of shocked me a little.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. People from Danbury digging on Murder Metal Mayhem.
Probably
so
the people in the hospital when he was doing it from there.
The priest,
The priest
that said it was okay
it.
to say fuck. All that. All those people are all about it. You never know. You never know. Well, CK, we've been pumping this one up because you're going to be doing a band tonight that I know a lot of our listeners are going to love. A band that everybody, of course, knows that listens to this show. But what the hell do you got for us tonight, man?
I'm finally going to do Slayer.
Nice.
Gotta do Slayer.
Fucking Slayer. You can't say Slayer without being like we were talking earlier.
Fucking Slayer.
Fucking Slayer.
Well, fucking Slayer up to a point.
Yeah.
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
Then wheels fell off. But I'll talk about that. That's just my opinion. But Yeah, they formed in '81, and it was Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman, Dave Lombardo, and Tom Araya who formed the band. And despite what everybody thinks, they were not formed in the Bay Area. They actually came out of the Los Angeles area.
Right.
Which made it even harder for them coming from Los Angeles, because obviously that was where
The glam shit.
where all the glam shit was, and they did not fit that image at all. Obviously, Metallica moved away from that to get away from that scene because they didn't fit. But Slayer never technically moved away from the Los Angeles scene. That's where they were. That's where they played. No, they played the Bay Area at times, but for the most part, that is where they were from. And they recorded some demos. Caught the ear of, obviously, the one and only Brian Slagle, who at that time was forming his own label, Metal Blade, and featured them on the Metal Massacre 3 compilation with the song Aggressive Perfector.
Which isn't even their song.
Right. Judas Priest, right?
No, that's their song. Aggressive Perfector is their song.
What song?
You're thinking of Dissident Aggressor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My
yeah,
bad.
that's it.
My fault.
You're thinking of Dissident Aggressor.
Yep.
That was Judas Priest.
I
That
wasn't
on
even
South-
thinking of the timeline of when they did that.
Yeah, that was South of Heaven. But it got them a buzz. It got them the recording contract with Metal Blade. And the band, with basically no budget, because Tom Araya basically fronted the recording on his own with help from Kerry King's father, because he was basically the only one who had a full-time job at that point. They entered the studio in late November '83, and the album was recorded very quickly. Basically, it was released just about 3 weeks after the album was recorded. So it was rushed to the shelves. And I remember seeing the album, seeing the imagery of the satanic imagery and the songs, and I was like, oh, I got to get this.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
And I bought it home, and it was different than Metallica. It was different than Venom. A little bit more faster than probably, well...
Yeah, and the
just as fast.
subject matter made it more taboo, especially in that
yeah.
satanic panic era,
Yeah,
Our parents were all
Merciful-
freaking the fuck out,
I love that term, Satanic Panic, though. I'd fucking love
that'd be
that
a good
term.
band name, man.
It would be.
But that album did really well, and that album not Kerry King, Dave Lombardo did not play double bass at that time.
Yeah, I think I read that.
He only used one bass drum. He wasn't a double bass drum player at that time. Soon after that, they recorded a 3-track EP, Haunting the Chapel, which even got more darker with the themes, and was even more thrasher than the first album, Show No Mercy. It basically showed you where they were going for their next album, Hell Awaits. Now, between Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits is when Dave Lombardo was taught how to use the double bass drum by Gene Hogan. Gene Hogan was the one who taught him how to use the double bass drum and to double bass drum. So
yeah, Hoagland's a fucking animal, man.
Yeah, and Hoagland was doing that before anybody really. Since he was a teenager. But in '84, they recorded, to me, the classic Hell Awaits, which was even more darker, more extreme. The tracks were a little bit longer, a little bit more progressive. And to me, that's still probably my favorite album by them.
Yeah.
To this day. just because it's so nasty.
Dude, every song on that album is fucking great.
There's not one bad track on it. And at that time, Dave Lombardo was like the thrash drummer at that time. He was the man, to say the least. And Slayer caught the attention of, believe it or not, Def Jam Records. Rick Rubin
Def Jam
with
Run DMC, baby.
Yeah, remember me and B-Boot went down there to Def Jam.
Oh,
Made
yeah,
a
yeah,
fucking
that's right.
idiot out of
That's
me,
right.
man. Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Fucking jackass.
Rick Rubin and
B-Boot. I still have that sticker on my old bass case.
That's awesome.
B-Boot Productions. Yeah.
what the fuck?
I saw that idiot on Facebook.
Damn, dude, that's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm not going to say his real name, but yeah, B-Boot. Sorry.
It's
Dragged you in the weeds, CK, but I'm just remembering that fucking train ride to the city with him with that fucking shower cap on with the fucking jerry curl. Fucking ridiculous, man. I'm not even exaggerating.
surprised you could get your asses kicked.
Yeah, big time.
But they signed Slayer, the first metal band or even rock band, to Def Jam Records. And Rick Rubin produced the upcoming album Rain and Blood, which, pretty much had
Classic.
everything
man.
on it. That is a classic. Had everything from, Joseph Mengele to Murder to
The anti-religious stuff.
Yeah, and Def Jam didn't have a problem with it, but their distributor, who at the time was Columbia Records, had an issue with it.
Right.
To the point where they weren't going to put it out. So what Def Jam did was they went to Geffen Records. Geffen Records was okay with it. Geffen Records distributed the album.
Geffen's just like, fuck yeah, hail Satan.
Slayer!
And, they put it out and I think it came out just almost 34 years ago.
Wow.
This month. Put it out and it became the biggest charting album by Slayer at that time, obviously. 30 minutes of pure aggressiveness, pure thrash. It was just a phenomenal album. And I remember people having a cassette, and the cassette was so short because it was only 30 minutes.
The same thing on both sides, right?
The same thing on both sides, I believe.
Yeah, we were
So
talking
good.
about that last week, I think, Joey, right?
So I had to flip it over and play it again.
As I was saying,
they-
technically Live Undead's longer than Rain and Blood.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it is. Because I think that's 31 minutes.
Right, something like that.
And I think Rain and Blood is 29 minutes.
Right.
Right, it's like just 2 minutes, like a
That's
couple
funny.
minutes longer. Fuck yeah.
But they tore the hell out of that album. And I saw them. They I forgot who opened up for them, but I saw them. They were touring. They were headlining. I think I saw them at West Hartford Ballroom.
Huh.
Can't remember. But I think that was... No, it was the following year. The following album. Obviously Rain and Blood was the album at the time. And to this day, many people say that's the Slayer album to own.
Yeah.
It was their, Sgt. Pepper, let's say, as far as what people think of it. But they followed that up when next year was South of Heaven. And South of Heaven was a little bit more toned down, a little bit slower, a little bit heavier. But I actually like that just as much as Rain and Blood.
I do too, man.
Yeah.
South of Heaven is fucking amazing, man.
It's got some great songs on it, great lyrics, great hooks. And that's the album they did, Dissident Aggressor by Judas Priest.
Right.
And that was the tour that I saw them where they played the Felt Forum in Madison Square Garden, and Danzig opened, and that was the show where people ripped the seats from the Felt Forum.
Oh wow!
I've been to Slayer where that's happened, dude.
And that was the last time any metal band or hard rock band played.
Oh wow!
And that Felt Forum until it closed and changed to the Madison Square Garden Theater.
You can straight up say, "I was at that show, motherfucker. I helped get metal canceled. Fuck yeah,
Slayer,
fucking Slayer."
Graham, like Graham a dope.
Graham, like
I
Graham
remember
Dope.
seeing him at the Riviera up in Chicago, and it was like raining blood on the stage and shit. It
Right.
was so fucking sick, man. Wow, I've seen him there. I've seen him at the Aragon up there in Chicago. I didn't see them, I don't think, till I moved out here. So I missed the show you're talking about at the West Hartford Ballroom. But, yeah, they were phenomenal live, man. They were so fucking... The energy was just intense, man. Just brutal.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah, anytime
Brutal.
I seen Slayer live was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, I seen Slayer 4 times in a row.
Like in a row, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
No, I
like
mean,
in a row.
four tours.
Four tours in a row, right?
And I saw him in between tours, and the 5th time was not anything like it was the first 4 times. But 1990, they followed South of Heaven up with Seasons in the Abyss.
Another good
Fucking
one, man.
slam. That's a
And,
banger, dude.
which to me was the last classic Slayer album that they recorded. Was also the last one they recorded with
Dave Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo.
Right.
And that may have something to do with
Yeah.
why the wheels fell off and they started to go downhill. I don't know, but that was another album that just crushed.
No, dude, that's a fucking.
I was
banger.
listening to that today, man. That's fucking amazing.
Dude, back in high school, dude, me and one of my buddies, we fucking hung out like all the time, fucking, and we had the cassette Walkmans, right?
Right.
We fucking both have fucking Season of the Abyss on our Walkmans and just push play at the same time. Because you
Nice.
can't do it. Like, there ain't no Bluetooth or no shit. We're sitting in
Right.
school and shit, like listening to Seasons fucking at the same time. It's like, fuck yeah, dude.
That's awesome, man.
You know, and they toured for that album. I saw them on that tour, and Dave Lombardo was getting a little, I guess, the usual, musical differences.
Right.
He wasn't happy with the direction his band was going. He was, Dave Lombardo was always into the faster, more aggressive stuff, and he left, and he eventually went to form Grip Inc. With a couple of guys. And they also, 1990 was also that tour, the Clash of Titans tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they said that was the end of, or the
Thrash.
beginning of grunge.
Right.
Yeah, because they had, cause I remember seeing this tour. I saw this tour at,
Yeah, didn't they have Alice in Chains open? Was that the
yeah, it
one?
was supposed to be another band. Yeah, it's supposed to be another band. I forget who it was, but they couldn't do it. So Alice in Chains was picked, and they got
Massive.
bottles thrown at them, And I actually had the first album. And I dug them, and it's funny because, that tour people were lambasting them and throwing bottles, saying they suck. And a year later, those same people were the people who were buying the Alice in Chains album.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
fucking
A lot of
going
the
to
bands
show,
were
yeah.
salty to Alice in Chains because
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
got all-
reciprocate them helping
Right.
them out by not hooking up the metal bands after metal
After
was on
helping
its
them
way out.
I saw some shit like that. I
They
wanted
could have
them
kind of
back.
reached out and tried
Yeah.
to help them, and they were pretty salty about it.
It was more the other bands than Alice in Chains. It was like Soundgarden, Nirvana, obviously. They didn't want anything to do with the thrash scene or the metal scene.
Right.
Because they want to do heroin, man.
I guess.
But no, that was the last album or last tour with Dave Lombardo, and No, shortly after that's when the wheels fell off to me. 94, they got Paul Bostoff from Forbidden, who Forbidden at that time had broken up. And they recorded Divine Intervention, which was an okay album.
Yeah.
That opening drum line, though, dude, on that album's fucking nasty to me. Just the way that album fucking...
I was a freshman in high school. That shit was huge to me.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, dude. That
I knew it wasn't like the exact same Slayer and shit. I could tell already.
Right.
But I still loved that album. I thought it was an aggressive,
Very
piece of
aggressive.
music.
I thought compared to the others, it was uninspired.
Yeah, I don't think it was written as well.
It had... I could listen to the album and I would forget the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it was.
It's
for
good
me.
compared to other stuff, but when you compare it to what Slayer had done to that point, it was weak.
Right.
But I mean, it's still a good album. It just to compare it to other
was good. It was
fucking South of Heaven, Rain and Blood, and fucking Seasons in the Abyss. I mean, goddamn, that's a tough three fucking albums to fucking come back.
Yeah,
I
three
mean,
monsters.
You almost got to give them a fucking a pass on that one.
Yeah.
I would give him a pass, except it didn't get any
I know,
better.
that's what I was just going to say. Paul Bostoff, I think, is a hell of a drummer, but I think the absence of Lombardo in that chemistry of that band, I think, really changed him a lot.
Because when I saw him on that tour, when he did the Lombardo stuff, it lacked. He was kind of sloppy, with the drumming for the Lombardo stuff. I just don't think he had the chops that Lombardo had.
Yeah.
Because when Lombardo played, he was fast and tight, and he wasn't sloppy.
How do you compare to a god?
And that time, there were a couple other drummers who was as good as Lombardo. Charlie Benante,
right?
Another one who's a fast and flawless drummer.
John Tempest is probably one of my favorites.
Hoagland, as you already talked about.
Obviously, Hoagland.
Richard Christie.
John Tempest.
John
Christie wasn't really around at that time, though.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Around here he was, though. He's from Missouri.
Yeah, he came from the Midwest, yeah. Because I think his first band was Death. His first major band, I should say.
Yeah.
Was Death.
Yeah, he's from Missouri because the guys I used to play with in Low 12, in their first band, played a show with him, and in whatever the name of the band was, I don't recall now, a death metal band from Missouri, but then he left and moved to Florida and joined Death, and then, of course, the rest of the story. But
the rest is history.
Right, but sorry to take you away.
No, it's all right. But 4 years later, they released...
Diabolos and Musica.
Diablos and fucking shit.
I didn't think it was that bad, but again, compared to those other ones, it's just not as good.
Well, when you try to attempt to go new metal, you detune, and it's obviously you're trying to gain a new metal crowds. I couldn't even listen to that album. I think I heard it a couple times, and I was like, you know what? This is garbage.
I liked it.
And
I like some of the songs on it, but I don't know about if I would say they were trying to be new metal, but I agree. Compared to those classics, it doesn't hold a candle to it. But I didn't think it was that bad. But I know you disagree.
I thought it was horrible.
Yeah, I was a big hater on it when it came out.
Yeah.
I actually, it made me appreciate God Hates Us All more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah, I like that one too.
That's what I'm saying. When they came out, I was like,
on 9/11, it fucking came out.
That's
I remember
true,
I went to buy it at Best Buy right on my way home from finding out about the towers, my cancer, all that shit was going on the same day. Bought that Slayer album on 9/11, threw it in the CD player, and I'm jamming fucking God Hates Us All, driving home like, what the fuck, man? This is crazy. Like, maybe the fucking world is coming to an end. Like, holy shit.
The fucking Diabolos and Musica album, like me and Michael were working in the kitchen hotel, the hotel kitchen there in Bloomington and shit. And fucking, we had that album playing there's a bunch of Mexican people that work there or whatever, and they're looking at us like, what the fuck? We're like, Diablos of Music. And they're like, yeah. They're like, yeah, I know.
That's funny. We know all about Diablos. And Diablo Productions.
Obviously, in 1990, in 91, they came up with God Hates Us All.
Fuck yeah.
Not 91. Not 91.
2001.
Yeah, 2001.
I'm sorry, 2001. Chemo brain.
Yes, September 11th, man. Crazy.
I was able to get it the day before because I also got
of course
the.
You were.
I had a record store that allowed me. He would sell it to me a day early.
Nice.
Got that hookup.
And that was the same day I got the Dream Theater.
Yeah, that picture of that.
Live from New York, yeah. Which that album's worth money now.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I actually dug God Hates Us All. I thought it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, me too.
I liked it.
I agree.
You know, and it sounded like they were going back to the old Slayer, the old form. The thrash, the lyrics, the content, yeah. And I actually saw him on that tour, and that was one of the better tours. That was the last time I saw him. The tour, because the tour before that sucked, was horrible. But yeah, they were great on this tour. You know, and then there was the rumor that Dave Lombardo was coming back. That Paul Postov left, and they were getting Lombardo back, and it was the next album was going to be it. Was going to be the next big thing,
Right.
And you know, they put out Christ's Illusion in 2006.
Yeah.
Well, what originally supposed to come out in 2006? I think it came out in 1998 or around then. And another fucking disappointment. I just don't know what happened. I don't know if they lost. You know, if Tom Araya lost interest or somebody lost interest.
Yeah.
It's Catholicism,
but-
man.
It just seemed like uninspired. You know.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
know-
to
I
be
know that-
angry like that when you got money and like you're not really having to work and you're just kind of chilling.
And you're in your 40s.
So maybe that's it. Like it's hard to capture that aggression of youth when you're fighting to, you know, make it, so to speak. And maybe Lombardo leaving really was kind of the death knell, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I think they still put out good stuff, but it was not nearly as groundbreaking as it was back when they started. And I think it increasingly just, we kind of almost get desensitized to them. And then, you know, when they, you know, were on the decline, it just seemed like they fell so far. But, you know, they were still putting out good stuff. It just wasn't nearly
it was just
the
generic.
good, the
Well, also
classic.
they spent so much fucking time touring too.
Yeah, they did tour
That
quite
it would,
a bit.
it's got to be hard
shit
to
ton,
just be able to
man.
write music whenever you're constantly on the move.
Right.
Yeah, and not just in the United States, overseas,
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the big fests in Europe, dude, like nonstop.
Right.
But that's how they were making their money.
Oh,
so
Sure.
yeah,
you can't fault them for that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And you know, then they came out with World Painted Blood, which had the worst guitar sound by Slayer I ever heard. It was like such a thin sound. I was like, the songs are actually good on it. It's just the sound of the album.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, suffers. You know, it's like they can't get it together. It's like, you know, you write good songs, you have good songs, but the sound isn't there for it. And that was the last album that would feature Lombardo again, because again he would leave. I think John Dett filled in for him after he left on some of the tours and some of the shows. And you know, around this time, 2011, Jeff Hanneman became ill because he was bitten by a spider. He had necrotizing fasciitis.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Where his basically the flesh on his arm was all fucked up, and
basically like
they had
a
to cut his arm up.
bite.
Yeah, they had to open his arm up, cut his arm up, and give him skin grafts.
Yeah.
And that caused him not to be able to play. So obviously they got Gary Holt for the tours around that time.
Right.
And Gary Holt basically became a member of Slayer while still in
Gary Holt's
Exodus,
a fucking beast, man. Holy shit. Wow.
But and unfortunately, Jeff Hanneman was able to perform some songs on some of the tours. He couldn't perform the whole show, but he on some shows he would be able to perform the final 2 songs. He was at least able to do that.
Right.
Never able to come back full time, and unfortunately on 2013, Jeff Hanneman passed away.
Dude, it's fucked. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It doesn't. Wow,
Since
7
Jeff
years.
yeah.
Jesus.
Not from spider bites, but from
liver failure, right?
Liver failure caused by cirrhosis. Obviously,
Booze.
he was an alcoholic. So he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah. Sad.
And, which is real sad. Because I still remember I was going through my first bout of cancer when he passed away.
Wow.
And then Gary Holt basically became a full-time member of Slayer. Eventually they went back in the studio at some point, even though I thought they would let Holt write some songs and be a writer. Gary Holt did not write any songs for the next coming out album, which was Repentless, which was a really good album.
I like Repentless, to be
dude.
honest with you.
And it was a good way to go out because they actually had an album that they should be proud of.
Dude, that fucking album is so good. Dude, the
The
video for that
videos
song,
are wicked with Danny Trejo
Danny
and
Trejo
shit.
and the
Yeah.
prison scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God
those
damn,
are
dude.
sick, man.
Those things are so fucking great.
But then Slater went on the retirement tour and finally, was it last year or the year before?
It was right when we
can't
started
remember.
the podcast because it was, I think, the
Yeah.
first or second episode where we talked about the final tour.
Yep. It was.
That's right. So it's
right at
been
the
2 years
beginning,
since since they retired and
Right.
called it quits. And basically they're getting back together, but it's not going to be Slayer because Tom Araya is
He's
totally
done.
retired from music.
Yeah,
He's
right.
That's what he
done.
said.
He can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But supposedly there's going to be Kerry King, Gary Holt, and Paul Bostoff with somebody else, I forget who it was, are forming a band. I forget who it was. But Tom Araya is totally done. He's done with music. So he's completely retired. And the influence that Slayer has had on metal the last 40 years is
a lot.
Yeah, you can't deny what the influence that they had on almost every single death metal band, thrash band. Even around the time where was it? Deathcore bands.
Well,
Slayer.
That's what I was just gonna say. Pretty much any genre, at least one member, you see them somewhere,
Right, with a
somewhere.
Slayer
No matter
shirt.
what,
Yeah.
they got a Slayer
Right.
shirt on. There's
Yeah.
something. They're covering.
Huge
The bands are
influence.
covering Slayer songs all the fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
So you can't deny
No.
whether they were consistent with what they put out or not. They had an influence on the scene, and still to this day, they're still influential.
will never not be.
You're probably right, Chris. They probably will always be influential in one way or the other.
Right.
New generations will discover them like new generations will discover Sabbath.
Exactly.
And and that's the way it is. And they should be to me, they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. I was there last year, and I thought it was a joke. I mean, it was cool to be there, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, they got, like, people in there, Madonna. I mean, give me a fucking break. What the hell's she ever done for rock and roll? And yet, bands like Judas Priest and bands Maiden, and they get snubbed. It doesn't make any sense.
Even bands that are just rock and roll, like Foreigner.
Right.
How can if a band like Foreigner can't get in, what makes you think a band like Slayer can get in?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of silly, really.
So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke, but that's pretty much my take on Slayer. I hope I did it justice.
No, that's awesome.
It's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Just so much you could do that.
It could be a whole episode on Slayer.
It could.
You could do like a whole hour and a half on Slayer, and still you wouldn't be able to get everything in.
Right.
But
now you got a good lost classic for us this time, CK?
Band is called Winter's Bane, and the album's called Heart of a Killer. And if somebody could tell me what the significance of this band is.
I know the name. I know I've heard them, but I don't know. I can't tell you any significance.
I'm not sure.
Remember a singer called Ripper Owens?
Oh yeah. That's who he sang for?
That was it. That was his band.
Oh, nice.
All right.
And that was that was the same band that
I remember you talking
perform.
about this now when you talked about Ripper and shit before.
Right.
I remember you mentioning Winter's Bane.
Okay, that makes sense.
Great album. I don't think it's available anymore. I don't think you could stream it. But
oh well, thanks for giving us a classic we can't even fucking hear. Great.
You could go on YouTube and find it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But a Judas Priest influenced band. That was the same band where they would perform as Winter's Bane, go back, perform a second set in different clothes with a different member or two, and perform as the Judas Priest tribute band,
right?
Which he was, which Judas Priest found him performing as that band,
right?
But definitely a cool album. I believe they were still together for a while. They put out a couple albums after Ripper, and those albums were as good as well with a different singer,
right?
But cool band that I thought people would want to know about.
That's cool. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Now, CK, I know you got some scans back. You had to go to do some scans, and I know you've been battling, all our listeners know and care about you with your cancer fight. And I know you had a little bit of an update to share with the listeners. I posted something on Facebook about it. Just, in a simple way, as simple as you can be with this type of thing.
Yeah, I went for my follow-up scan on Friday. Had the follow-up visit with the doctor yesterday. Results weren't what we were hoping. It seems like the couple tumors or nodules I have in my chest have gotten a little bit bigger. The tumor in my sacrum has pretty much remained stable. Unfortunately, in my spine, there shows a new small tumor that just started to grow.
That's not cool, man. A new one is definitely not cool, bro.
Which may be causing the pain that I've been feeling
the
last couple of weeks. Actually had a consultation, which was supposed to be next week, with the radiological oncologist. They actually pushed up. I'm going tomorrow afternoon for the consult to see if I could get actual radiation on that area.
Okay.
We're going to be trying a new chemotherapy after, if I get radiation after the radiation, we're going to be trying a new chemotherapy on me, which will be back to every 2 weeks. It'll be an infusion, so I'll have to go to the hospital. Won't be a pill.
Right.
But feels that's the best option right now that we're gonna try.
Wow.
So see what happens.
Well, you've been in a hell of a fight, dude, and your optimism and your fucking just attitude is impressive, man. I keep telling you that, but holy shit, we always worry about you.
You know who gets the props for all that is my wife, Laura.
Yeah, she does, man.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
amazing.
she's always been there
without her, I don't know where the fuck I would be.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree, dude. She's amazing.
When I get down, she kicks me in the ass and says, "What are you giving up?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not giving up." Just sometimes you get down and
right.
It is what it is, and you're like, "Well, fuck, I got to fight."
Right.
Never give up, homie.
So we're gonna, continue to fight this fucking disease until I kick its ass finally.
Well, that's good, dude.
That's where we're at.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with the listeners. I know we talked yesterday on the phone, and I know you got a hell of an attitude about it. And I know that you would want us to keep talking about fucking metal, so I think it's about time to play some fucking little bit of onslaught here and get into our next segment, so hang tight. Fucking A, man. Some onslaught. 666 fucking 6.
Gotta love the 666s, bitch.
That's right. Talking about Slayer, too, on top of that. But what have you guys been listening to, Chris? What's been the latest, man?
Oh, man. Today I was jamming. I did a couple of things I've been listening to are like older shit. Like today I was jamming that Waking the Cadaver, fucking Beyond Cops, Beyond God. That fucking album to me is fucking awesome, dude. I don't know if you've heard it. Have you heard that shit, dude? CK?
I've heard of them. I haven't heard that album. I gotta check them out.
Dude.
New Jersey.
From Jersey. Fuck yeah. And also fucking Necrogoblicon, man. I love Necrogoblicon.
Oh, wow.
Those guys are great. Yeah, they're fucking awesome, dude. They got the fucking hype man, too, when they're playing the fucking dude, the goblin. He's fucking awesome, man. But fuck yeah.
That's cool.
That and old-ass fucking early to mid-2000s. It's a deathcore band, but it's called Eliza. They put out 2 albums in 2 years, and that's it. But they had like 16 members throughout that 2 years and 2 albums.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they put out Masochist and Lions of Judas. And the Lions of Judas one is way different from the first one. But I've been jamming those the past couple days.
That's cool.
I love to hear it.
That's
and
cool.
also that group that's not metal, fucking Skin, they put out a video for their Columbine album or Columbine song, and it's a fucking badass shit. So I've been listening to that.
That's cool. Joey, what about you, man?
Listening to my own shit again.
Yeah,
you've been working on new stuff.
Yeah, that was the
Recording
same. One thing that me and Alex from Cry Tripper, we doing this band Burnt to a Crisp.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so that's pretty cool. We're actually going to premiere that at HOI, which will be fun. We
cool.
did 3 songs for a split we're going to put out. But
I love the split, too.
Yeah. But what I'm jamming in my car right now is Sanctuary, Into the Mirror Black.
They're coming up on the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Re-release.
Wow. Yep.
It's coming out with a re-release on the end of this month.
Of that album?
Of that album, yep.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fucking World Dane, man.
Yeah. I actually hadn't even listened to them for like a long time, and I saw the disc, and I was like, oh, shit, I need to put this in.
That's cool. CK, what about you, man?
I've been like all over the place. Like I've been listening to some Dillinger Escape Plan.
Fuck yeah, I love Dillinger.
Satan's Host. Some Overkill. And I've been digging a new AC/DC tune.
I heard that they had a song, but I haven't heard the song yet. So.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
that's cool.
Obviously, it's AC/DC, but
sure.
It kicks ass.
I'll tell you, I heard a new Accept song, and I did not like it. I don't know what it is about it. It's kind of bland. Like, I'm kind of unimpressed. I was really psyched that they had it.
I didn't even know they had a new song out.
Yeah, I heard there's a video for it, and I was not that impressed with the video or the song. It was just kind of blah.
I got some friends over in Germany in a band, Cerebral Enema, grind band.
Yeah.
They're really good, but they also working on this thrash album. And I linked it to CK today, one of the songs, but they're called Annexation.
That song was killer.
Yeah,
man.
and I mean, they kept telling me, they're like, "Yeah, we're doing this thrash project," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I want to check it out." And then they finally, linked me that day. I was like, "Wait, this is fucking good."
Oh wow!
So I'm gonna try to get that full album.
Nice.
Yeah, because that has the album's out, but it's like import, and it's like a crazy price.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Maybe because I'm going to talk to them, see if I can get a couple copies from the band, because I'm doing a trade with them anyway. So if I can, I'll try to get you one, CK, send it to you.
Yeah, definitely, because that song, that riff in that song is awesome.
I'll probably link it to Pete. Maybe we can play it for bumper music or something next
Yeah,
week.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I've been listening to the new Armored Saints stuff. Of course, I watched their streaming concert on Saturday. It was really great.
Hell yeah.
Their CD release party at the Whiskey in L.A., and they did it all virtual online, so there was nobody there, but they played on stage. It was great. They did a question and answer at the end. It was very cool. They played for about 70 minutes and mix of old stuff, new stuff, like 4 songs off the new album. It was really good, and they sounded great, so loved it. I've been listening to a lot of Slayer lately because, of course, we're doing it tonight.
Slayer.
And a little Richard Cheese in there, too. I'll just leave it there. So, Joey, what's the latest with the HOI show coming up here pretty
soon,
quick?
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Couple
man,
weeks.
It's just a little over 2 weeks now, but everything seems to be okay.
Halloween night, baby.
Yeah, it's Halloween night, which we get an
Forest,
extra hour.
Illinois.
Yeah. Fucking time goes back an hour that night,
Oh,
so we
nice.
get an extra hour.
And it's a full moon.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Damn.
Dude.
Oh, wow.
Some bands have changed, unfortunately, but others haven't. Still 12 bands on the bill, so not bad at all.
Right. It starts early, though, right?
Yeah, it 2 o'clock's whenever it tentatively starts. Bands at 3. I have a feeling most people that are going to be there, they're going to be there early on anyway, which is cool.
Right.
People have been waiting to do some shit, and a lot of people traveling, so that's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I started seeing, the bar sharing the event.
Cool.
And
Murder Metal Mayhem will be there.
Murder
Me and
Metal
Bruce
Mayhem will be there.
We'll have some merch there, so come on and spend a little money.
Hell yeah. But I've always been curious, too, because it's like, especially with this year, how shit is. Like,
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm just holding my breath for this
I
shit just to
know.
fucking happen.
I know.
Fucking the other night when we were kicking it for Michael's birthday, Cash was just straight up just like, dude, I just want to wake up on November 1st and everything just went off cool, and I'll be all right by then.
Right.
No,
Yeah, I
it should
can
be all
imagine.
right, though, man. And like I said, the bar was fucking sharing the event, and then I even got hit up today by them, and they were like, so what kind of beer should we order for the
Like
Oh,
what
cool.
most people drink.
Yeah,
dude.
so
you get a
fucking-
plethora of this kind of beer. or
Halloween,
Right.
October 31st, $5 show, 12 bands, fucking middle Illinois. If you guys
Yeah.
are around, like, it's worth
Get
it.
her done.
There's
cool.
not a lot of shit happening this year, so fucking.
And we're doing a special episode for HOI.
Yes, sir.
We're going to play it the last week of October, so you'll get to hear some of the bands, and we're going to talk about the show and much more in depth. We're actually going to be recording that one this Saturday. So, all right. Also, we found out this week that Mark Sugar, the guitar player from Bear Maze, CK, you got that new album. It's fucking ripping.
Killer.
It is. It's
killer.
great.
Fucking slam.
We played a song last week, Let Crack the Whip, and it's a badass tune. The whole album crushes, and Mark is a good dude. He's going to be on with us. We're going to do an interview with him on Saturday, and we're going to record it. And, of course, the 666 Club members will get to hear all of it, and the rest of you will get to hear a piece of it here in the next episode or two. So stay tuned for that.
And we'll all be on the interview, which will be cool.
That's right. It'll be the first time we've ever done it like this. So so that'll be awesome. All right. So I think we've done plenty of metal tonight.
Metal.
So CK, what the fuck do we need to do?
Mayhem.
Are you tired of your girl having some nasty stank-ass pussy? Something that smells like an animal died up in there? Well, fear no more. Thanks to Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance, you can say goodbye to that graveyard-inspired rotten crotch forever.
Yes, my wife's pussy smelled like 10 motherfuckers died up there. But when I applied Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance Cream, it smelled fresh and new.
Give your wife our special Mother's Day Pussy Be New basket with a tube of the maintenance cream, a bottle of our special jizz-absorbent powder to keep the cum crystals down, and a hand towel to wipe that fucker down.
Thanks, Dr. Geen. Her pussy smells so good. I might just cut it off and put it in the shoebox with all the others.
Well, that's a topic for another day, son. Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance. Buy some today for that rotten crotch pussy you love to hate.
Oh my God. That's got to be probably the best one we've ever done. That's so fucking ridiculous.
Dude, it's so
with
good.
my son, the two Joeys in there doing that shit.
The fucking jizz crystals.
And a hand towel to wipe that fucker down.
I think that one was
man.
like, we did that one so long ago. Like I didn't bother to read through it well enough before I started to try to do it.
Right.
And then just started cracking up dying. Like,
What the fuck?
Yeah, those are so fun. We got some more we're gonna do Saturday, CK. So prepare yourself. I'm sure we'll call on you for
That'd
some.
be cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So, all right, guys. Well, we are in Mayhem. We just passed the 2-hour mark here, so we are crushing it with some Slayer discussion, and of course Yuba County 5. Moving into Mayhem. Of course, fucking Slayer with the Antichrist, fucking crushing. I was going to play that, but I decided on the Antichrist there. One of my favorites, man. That is just such an amazing. I remember that song on fucking Show No Mercy.
Hell yeah.
Just so fucking wicked. But we are in Mayhem, and CK, you said you had a Mayhem story. Chris has one to share as well. So
Yeah, nothing ridiculous.
go ahead, CK. What do you have for us?
Well, this goes back a couple years ago when I was at work. Now I work for a retail business. I'm store management. I'm not going to give the name, but it's a big chain in the Northeast.
you're probably manager where I work.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not unless you're food.
Nah,
Food
I'm
retail.
other retail, but we are from the Northeast too. So anyhow,
But I won't give the name because I'm still employed.
you would like to remain employed?
Yes. I was opening the store one morning, so I go in at 7, a little bit before 7. And my normal routine is I walk in, I walk the store, I say hi to the night crew, make sure there's no issues. Didn't see anything through my initial walk. And I go in the office, do payroll real quick, and walk the store. So I did this that morning. So I get ready to walk the store after I do payroll. And I'm walking the back aisle. And I'm walking and I'm looking, and there's something in the middle of the aisle. I'm like, I go, this can't be what I think it is.
I hope it's poop.
I get closer, and it's a log of shit.
Yeah! Fuck yeah!
I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Dude.
One,
Wow.
there's no way somebody could just drop drawer and take a shit like that.
I've seen videos, bro. You seen those
Yeah, I've
videos?
seen those, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, I get my porter to clean the mess. I give him a store,
Like a tech scrubber?
an associate, card, because that's beyond the Call of Duty.
Ah, gotcha.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, like duty.
So I call my my security guy, and I go, "You by any chance come to the store today?" He goes, "I wasn't," but he goes, "I can if you need me." I said, "You got to come in and check something out for me." So I told him what have. He goes, "I'll be there." He goes, "Actually, I'll be on my way now." So 20 minutes later, he comes in. He goes to the security room, goes on the cameras, and we're looking, and it was like, had to be like a guy probably like in his mid-60s.
Oh, wow.
Stops. You see him stop, and like he puts out his ass a little.
Yeah, come get this, boy.
Right.
Damn.
All right. So he starts shaking his leg, and as he shakes his leg, you see the shit come out.
Oh, my God.
I only wish I had shit that solid.
I'm like, you couldn't wait to get to the bathroom. It was like, the bathroom was literally like 20 feet away.
Jesus. That's fucked, man. I was in high school with a dude that worked at not the same food establishment as UCK, but a different one in a small town that we both grew up in. And he shit on one of those styrofoam things like they put meat on and wrapped it and put a fucking sticker on it and put it in the fucking meat. And it was gone. Somebody bought it, yeah.
Oh, that's some asshole shit, literally.
That's fucked up.
God damn.
I was like, holy
that's
shit.
Some asshole shit, but yeah.
Pretty disgusting.
What the fuck, man?
So, speaking of pooping in a grocery store, that's really bad. So,
God damn.
Anyway,
so,
Chris,
yeah, like,
so what do you...
okay, this goes back 3 days ago.
Way back when.
This is Saturday. Me and Mike, when we were
celebrating Michael's birthday.
Yeah, we were celebrating Michael's birthday.
Yeah.
Our homeboy who lives here in Hayworth, he shows up and he's got this fucking motorcycle, dude. There's nothing really funny happening. It's just like, holy shit. Like, he's got this crotch rocket that's fucking extended, long as fuck, low to the ground. This motherfucker like does 220 miles on this thing just going down the road, dude. So we're just going out to this cemetery just to chill for a minute and whatever. And he's behind us on the bike and we're cruising in Cashman's car. We're doing about 55, whatever at the time. I'm just sitting there. We got the music going a little bit. I'm looking out the window. All of a sudden, I hear fucking like that, dude.
Wow.
And this motherfucker is like already a half a mile in front of us, dude. Like just fucking straight gone out of fucking nowhere. And now, mind you, we're coming down these country roads that got hills and shit. He's fucking like
Yuba County 5 shit.
Yeah, like getting it, dude. Like we're coming down straight out Morrissey, coming toward Shirley Road.
Okay.
By the fucking goddamn Humane Society.
Yeah.
So you know how the hills are there on that.
Yeah.
Like this motherfucker's like getting it, dude. And he gets all way up in front of us, and still there's this one hill you see bottoms out, sparks come flying out from under his fucking bike.
Holy
he just
shit.
keeps going. You can still hear it as far as he was, just going. And every time you hit a hill, though, you can hear it go. Like, dude, it's so ridiculous. So then we go out there, we hang out at the cemetery for a little bit. We turn around, come back. We're cruising down the same road, mind you. Cash was driving. He's like, fuck that. He gets up, it's about 75. The homeboy's sitting on, he's like he's passing us, so he's on the driver's side of the car, keeping up 75, looking straight at us like, what up, guys? Fucking, yeah. And he just drops it, dude. And that motherfucker, again, instantly, as soon as he dropped that gear, it's like, like fucking gone.
That's
and now the
crazy.
motherfucker's about to get 100 shot of nitrous for the motherfucker. He said he's headed up to 220 and not even hit sixth gear. He only been in fifth gear. It's a 6-speed bike. 220 in fifth. I'm like, dude, you're going to kill yourself, bro. Plus, dude, Cashman, where's that helmet at?
On the side.
Yeah, just hooked to the side of his bike. Not even wearing the motherfucker. Like, just hooked to the side of his bike. We're just like, dude, this dude's fucking nuts.
I guess.
But here's where I'm nuts. The next day, Sunday, he came over to hang out for a little bit. And my oldest daughter was like, hey, Dad, I want to go for a ride. I was like, go on, get it. And he's like, I'll be nice. And I was like, be nice. Give her a little taste of what it's got, but don't do that bullshit you do when you're by yourself, bro.
Yeah,
and I made her put the helmet on. I'm like, that helmet sitting there, you wear that son of a bitch.
Big time.
But yeah, she came back. She's like, Dad, that was the funnest shit ever. I was like, fuck yeah. But dude, just the way that bike just was so insanely fast. I was
crazy.
like, I would die, dude.
Yeah, me too. I don't like going fast like that. That's for sure.
He said he's going so fast. The
telephone
The
poles.
telephone poles were flying by like fence posts.
Like fence posts. Like
That's how
Wow.
A fucking striped line and the road is a straight line, dude.
Wow.
Like fucking,
That's nuts.
dude.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you what, guys.
And honestly, we might have. He's got a lot of good stories that he was telling while we was hanging out too.
Yeah.
We might have him in. Like I said,
Yeah.
he lives here in town.
Sure.
Bring him in, tell some stories for the Mayhem segment. And you'll be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah.
The overall story was great.
Yeah, we have to get him in then if he wants to come in. All right, well, we've been talking about it tonight, going back to the Killer Cage match, gentlemen.
Yep.
Got a good one for us tonight. Got some listeners to thank, Chris.
Say it right. Ash from Evil Dead.
Boomsock.
Boom.
That's
Rebecca
right.
Boomsock.
That's right. That's right. And who else
God
we got,
damn
Rebecca?
it. We got our homeboy Cody Durst.
All right.
Goddamn break stuff.
Rolling.
Fucking goddamn. And then we got our old girl Holly Smithson. Get it in. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And got a good matchup tonight, Joey. We got a couple of serial killers going at it.
Jeff Dahmer and Catherine Knight.
Hell yeah.
Ready
the
to
Aussie's
do
fucking
battle.
cannibal. Yeah, she's
Battle
pretty
of the
fucking
Cannibals.
badass. The Battle of the Cannibals. That's right. And they've got a couple of good objects this time around, CK, to help them out. What?
Yeah, it's definitely
That's
helps
some-
both
that's
of them
some
out.
bullshit.
Dude, yeah. Come on, CK. What do they got?
A cast iron skillet and a hot poker.
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to use that to cook.
exactly. That's
There
what
you go.
As soon as I saw it,
They're
I'm like,
all hooked up, man. Well, let's say whichever one is not going to live through this is going to be supper tonight.
God
hell
damn,
yeah,
for real.
And they got a good variable to make it interesting tonight, CK. Who is what's the variable this time?
Al Bundy with his eyes
Al
gouged out.
fucking
Oh,
Bundy.
damn.
And for those of you younger that don't know who Al Bundy is, there's this amazing show from the 90s called fucking Married with Children.
Yes.
Watch that shit.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
would never get away with that shit these days.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He's also a football hero.
That's
Oh,
right.
yes, Polk County.
You know it. So you got Jeffrey
Polk High.
Dahmer and Catherine Knight fighting to death in a cage with a cast iron skillet and a hot poker. And you got Al Bundy wandering around the cage, Joey, with his eyes gouged out. Chris, what the fuck do you make of this?
Oh, Al Bundy dies. Catherine Knight and Dahmer are just going to kill him and eat
Yeah, I
him.
don't think he has a
Oh, yeah.
chance.
No, yeah, he's done. They got
So he's like
they got,
the appetizer then?
Yeah, they just converge together. Like, I don't. Okay. Catherine Knight's just like, I don't like dudes the same way you don't like, the same way you do like dudes.
Okay.
Fuck it. And I think they just kill them together, eat them, and then they go their separate ways.
Oh, so they don't fight to the
They
death.
don't fight to the death. They just
Okay.
kill Al, and that's it.
Joey?
I'm taking Catherine Knight over Jeffrey Dahmer.
Me too,
Physically,
man.
I'm thinking
yeah.
Catherine Knight's a meaner bitch, and she'd have a lot more against Jeffrey Dahmer than he would against her. He's not trying to make her into a fucking zombie
Because it's female.
Yeah. Now, Al Bundy with his eyes gouged out. Me personally, from being a huge fan of the show, I think that would be fucking heaven for Al Bundy, so
I don't
he
get
wouldn't
to
have
see
to
Peggy
see all
no
that
more.
shit.
And you don't
Yeah,
have to look
right.
at Peggy no more.
Remember when he fucking got the glasses?
Yeah, I
And then all of a
remember
sudden
that.
he could see everything. He's like, what the shit?
I don't even like this.
CK, what do you think, man?
I'm going with Catherine Knight. She's going to take that fucking cast iron skillet and bash the shit out of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna bash Dahmer and Bundy and fucking have like a
Skin 'em.
golden corral, fucking like
'em.
a fountain of fucking men, fucking juices,
Make
all
some-
of fucking meat,
Right? And
all-
make some
she'd be
egg
hooked
gain
up.
clothing with their skin because that's what she does.
She'd be hooked up, man, with two fucking full-grown men to fucking chomp on for a while.
She
And-
probably
I
used the
just
cage.
picture Al Bundy just walking around going, pig, pig, pig.
I figure she would use the cage like in Silence of the Lambs and string the bodies up.
Oh,
and
there
shit.
you go. There you go. All right. Well, I think we got some good a good outcome for that
Goddamn.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Now,
still
I-
think they're both going to kill him and walk away from each other.
That's very possible. Now I've got been busy writing for Creation of Chaos 3. I got a couple of three short stories done: The Creep, The Last Supper, and The 666 Express. Joey, you got to read the 666 Express, and CK did as well. You said that you liked it.
I enjoyed it big time.
And we're going to do a reading of that for December, so we'll all have some speaking parts in that. It'll be a lot of fun. And I'm going to do The Last Supper for Thanksgiving week because that's a story about Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah.
Very brutal. And I'm working on my version of The Telltale Heart called The Eyes Have It. And it is very sick, a little mashup of the Texas Eyeball Killer and the Telltale Heart in one story. So
all of them have "the" in the beginning.
Yes, they do.
Now that I see it, I'm like,
they do. Yeah, not by design.
No,
but,
I do that with albums sometimes. I'll be like, I just wrote 5 songs that all got "the" in the beginning.
Right.
Switch it up. But.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I actually toyed around with just calling it 666 Express, but it seemed weird.
No, it sounds good.
Yeah. So I've been busy with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, CK. Thank you. Several more in the works. Going to do an H.P. Lovecraft story, The Thing on the Doorstep, which would be good. I also did a Facebook Live last night on my writing page that seemed to go over pretty well. It was about a half hour. Got a lot of questions from readers all over the place. It was pretty cool.
That's badass.
And CK, you were checking that out, and
yes, I was. Came out good.
Thanks. It was fun, and something I'll probably do again. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys posted. So, all right. Well, we've done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys, and this is a long episode, but we got to hit that outro. Fucking A, man. I love that
Slayer.
song. At Dawn They Sleep from Hell Awaits.
Fucking best
Oh, my
vampire
God.
shit.
Been good jamming some fucking Slayer here. Holy shit. How do you pare it down to 3 songs, though, right? All right. Well, I think that's, just been a great episode tonight, guys.
Yeah, we had a
Yuba
good time
County
doing
5
that.
was good. And then, of course, the Slayer stuff and some
mayhem.
Killer Cage match, some mayhem tales, some poop stories. Can't go wrong. All the bumper music tonight, guys, by fucking Slayer. So had to do it. CK, who cranks up your intro music?
Crysis.
Fucking A. And Chris, Murder Metal Mayhem's intro.
Low motherfucking 12.
Joey, the 666 fucking 6 intro music by who?
Cheerio Onslaught.
That's it. That's right.
Hell yeah.
Go check out spellboundeffectsandart.com. Support indie artists like Tony Campagna. He's got a great catalog you can order from. Halloween here in a couple of weeks, but fuck Halloween 24/7.
Yeah.
Tony's bringing it all the time. Also, thanks again to artist Lou Rasconi for the awesome T-shirt, or the Kevorkian shirt I got. You could go check out Lou's artwork. T-shirt's amazing. Lou Rasconi art.threadless.com for all his designs. I'll link to that in the episode description. But Lou's a good guy and really, really talented artist.
And Threadless is a company out of Chicago, so we rep that shit.
That's right. That's right.
Illinois, baby.
Yeah, I got actually. It's funny you say that because when I got the shirt, it came from Chicago, and I didn't know what it was at first till I opened it. So thanks to everybody listening out there. We keep seeing those numbers rolling in, and we do appreciate it. All of you that are out there. Chris, we got a good first comment here.
We got D. Crampton says, my cousin has been talking about this podcast the past few months. I finally got a chance to listen. I love it. The episode you did on BTK was my favorite so far, but have a bunch to get caught up on listening in Tampa, Florida. So get it down there in Tampa, baby. Fucking goddamn death metal.
The home of death metal.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's a good comment.
Thank you, D.
Hell
Appreciate it.
Joey, what about the next one, dude?
The second one is from Randy Eubanks, and he commented, "The Hell Coming contest was great. I ordered some of the peanut butter. I can't wait to tear it up."
Eat the whole motherfucking jar, bro.
I'll tell you what, man, that's some good goddamn peanut butter, man.
Some fucking good shit.
That's right.
Good PB.
CK, you've got another one here. Love this screen name.
Screen name is great.
I snorted because it's so funny.
It is good.
Rachel Ray is a whore 87.
That's hilarious. What the fuck?
Wow, got something against Rachel Ray, I guess, huh?
Have you guys featured Bolt Thrower yet? I love old school death metal. The bear mace shit you talk about is really good. I ordered a CD last night. Guys, support it. And yes, we did Bolt Thrower.
We did.
I believe it was the one of the earlier ones in our first year. I can't. I don't think exactly which episode.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
either,
I do remember covering them, but I can't think of the episode at the moment. But yeah, we totally did.
Yeah, and I definitely hear Bolt Thrower. I definitely hear Bolt Thrower in that bear.
I do recall myself saying, "Throw them bolts."
So that's awesome, and glad that Rachel Ray is a whore 87 bought the CD too. That's really cool.
Oh, that's great, dude. Thanks.
And then awesome, Chris, the last one. You want to read that last one?
Sonny Hates Share 666. That's a fucking weird.
You gotta love that one.
Yeah, your name is crazy, dude. Anyway, Sonny says the episode on the Bartonville Asylum was great. I used to live in Peoria, but moved to Nevada years ago. The place is creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there. Obviously, Pete has, and from Pete's recollection, it seems creepy. But yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for listening, Sonny.
Yeah,
hey, share.
Definitely. Don't forget to check out murdermetalmayhem.com to listen to all our past episodes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure you check us out. Some of those new platforms are on Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, iTunes, and more. And it really helps if you guys leave comments and rank the show, rate the show. Wherever you go to listen, do us a favor, drop a comment. It helps move it up the food chain. More people get to see it.
We hungry.
So, yeah, we could use the exposure, so appreciate that. You can support the show and join that 666 Club. Keep talking about it. Patreon.com/MurderMetalMayhem will get you there. You could join for just $3 a month.
Join up.
We got bonus episodes, guys. We did a Dahmer episode that they're missing out if they haven't listened to that.
And about to do
we'll
Ramirez.
be doing a Rich Ramirez episode, so that'll be coming up.
We got that one coming up in a couple of weeks.
Interview for part of it coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to be interviewing Jeff Gaither, the artist. He corresponded with Ramirez, and our own Joey here also corresponded with Ramirez. So that's going to be really fun to talk about that. We're going to do some of that this weekend, and then the rest of it will be recorded at the end of the month. So we got a lot going on here, and if you're a member of the 666 Club, you'll get to hear it. If not, you'll be SOL.
Fuck off.
You could go check out my books, PeteAltieri.com, if you're interested in that, or getting in on one of those live events I do. Don't miss the next one. We're going to talk about the crazy case of Paul Bateson, the X-ray tech on The Exorcist, actually killed somebody, fucking nuts, and suspected of killing 6 more in what they called the bag murders in New York City. So it's a wild fucking tale.
Hell yeah.
We'll dig into that and the curse that seems to have surrounded the movie franchise. Pretty wild stuff.
Continuing our October march.
Yes, keeping with the creepy.
And I'll be doing Ghost that week. So
that's right.
Cool.
You're doing Ghosts?
Yeah, he's going to do Ghost.
Really?
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not into him, but I think a lot of our listeners probably are. I definitely can't be the judge.
No, I definitely ain't going to judge.
Because I'm definitely got a very finite taste in music.
I have a fucking open mind. I've never actually listened to him a lot.
I've heard a couple of their songs. It's all right. It's just not really my thing. I'd be curious to hear about it.
This has got me super curious, CK. So yeah.
We can't let him go without hearing a song we'd all thought you'd like. Now, since we're doing Slayer tonight, Joey had originally suggested last week that I do a karaoke song of a Slayer tune, and we thought, well, that kind of takes away from the fun of it because it wouldn't be funny.
It's not a
Although it'd be fun to do, it wouldn't be funny.
Right,
but
right.
this
Right.
is funny. This is Richard Cheese. Hope you dig it. Crank it the fuck up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your feet trudging through the snow up that mountain till you find safety.
Death ensemble burial to be. Corpses rotting through the night in blood-laced misery. Scorched earth, the policy, the reason for the siege. The pendulum, it shaves the blade, the strafing air blood raid. Support the war. War support. Final swing is not a drill. People I can kill.
Mother, man.